this is day 3 of the Poll Center here on ABC News GH. Now, the big news that is currently tossing the waves in the country is the fact that the flapper of the New Patriotic Party has actually conceded defeat, and to John Dramani Mahama, who happens to be the flapper of the National Democratic Congress. And it's just been it's been dramatic. It's been, you know, people have held their breath waiting for this moment. But just take note that the EC is yet to officially declare the results for us to know. So for now, everything coming in is provisional. But then this he said, is to calm the tension in the country. I'm not going to do this alone. I have my able co-host here with me. We're going to guide you through everything you need to know about the presidential and the parliamentary elections that have just taken place, which has actually been a key turning point for some parties here in the country. My name is Epiphania Jokoto Gligui, and I'll be doing this. I have Samuel Nimago and definitely the ever lovely Abena Mante, who you have seen, for a couple of days now. Yeah. Hi guys.
Hi Epi.
How's it going?
Well, it's been a long 3 days. We have entered into day 3, and obviously I can say that this is not something Ghanaians anticipated. We didn't see the elections coming this way at all. For me, I had been drumming home the conversation about the low voter turnout and how people didn't show up. But in the non-show of people, we didn't expect the elections to take this dramatic.
Yeah,
I mean, there were polls. We knew how the polls were looking. But this is something that I don't think anybody saw coming. So, I mean, you have been doing politics today, constituency in focus, delving into the elections. And I remember our first ever news item here. You had a conversation with Musa Dankwa on polling and the need for it. Amidst all of these things, following, did you think that it was going to be a bloodbath, as you have been calling it?
Honestly, I would say I thought it would be a bloodbath. I thought the race would have been tougher, to have been very close. Anyone who would have won with some close margins. But it has been a historic win for the National Democratic Congress, I must confess. And you look at what the NPP flag bearer has done, conceding defeat in less than 24 hours after polls have ended. It's one thing that we haven't seen in Ghanaian politics. If you look at elections way back in 2008, when we had to go for a runoff, 2012 the elections went to the court. There was that 2012 presidential petition. 2016, Mahama didn't concede defeat within 24 hours. 2020, he didn't even concede defeat at all. He went to court again. Then we come into 2024 when all the stakes were high. Everything was high, from parliamentary to presidential elections. For the history that it came with, we have two sons of the North competing each other for the highest office in the country. So everybody knew that the stakes were high.
Yeah, so
and
I mean, like
we enter into it. Within less than 24 hours after polls have ended, EC hasn't even released a certified result yet. Then he comes in to concede defeat.
What is your general opinion of this? Because you said this has never happened. So what do you make of this? He conceding defeat. I mean, in less than 24 hours, he's conceded. Now, some people are thinking, okay, no, look, that's just too weak. That was too fast. You considered defeat too fast. What if EC comes and then the results are in your favor? So is it that he was, quote unquote, for some, as I say, was it like an act of weakness? But as he is saying that he's doing this to calm the tension in the country.
I think for once that it's the right move. It is the right thing he's done. He's calmed down tempers in the country. You look at what happened at various coalition centers across the country, where yesterday we had the National Democratic Congress asking its supporters to go to the coalition centers and man the polling, the boxes, to ensure that no one steals the ballot. The NPP equally did say, with the tensions that were already brewing, and having the political parties doing their own coalition on the side, they know the result. They do their coalition from polling stations. So the moment at 5, the moment the counting begins and the final results are declared at the polling centers, the political parties have it way earlier than the EC, because the EC has a procedure to move it from the the polling stations to constituency collation centers, then to regional collation centers before it gets to the national collation center. As we speak, the EC is still doing, at some regions, they are still doing constituency collation centers.
Yeah.
Others, they've gone to, some have gotten indications, some have gotten to the regionals. So there hasn't even been any result at the national level. But if you look at the political parties, they've done their own collation. They know who is winning. And NPP has been doing this since 2016. So they were able to know that they win in 2016 very early, 2020 same. So it is timely that if you know you are losing and nothing can change the results, why wait? Why not come in, concede defeat, calm down tempers, reassure your supporters that you've lost the elections, but the battle is not lost, reposition yourself and move forward. I mean, this is a point they should move forward as a party, and I think we all have to say kudos to Dr. Bawumia. He's done a yeoman's job. He's done a yeoman's job.
What even say that what if the results turn in his favor? In any case, this does not unsettle whatever may happen. Say, Epiphania, if you were in a contest and it came out that you won, and I said, congratulations to you, and the next time it's happened that a wrong figure was mentioned, obviously maybe you wouldn't be happy because you're someone who may have the euphoria would have been there, but it doesn't change anything. Again, the climate at the moment, yesterday 2 lives were lost. One life is even too much, and look at 2 lives, and
actually more than 2, because Kaswa we had 2.
Yes. The official one was that it was 2 lives. And some of the videos that came, I was telling Joshua yesterday when we were having the conversation that it was just stressful to look at. Because people were pushing against gates, those inside were pushing against it, and then it was a push and pull situation. If it escalated, what were we going to do as a nation? Throughout the night, people were trooping to coalition centers. Obviously, at the behest of their political parties. There are 2 major political parties said that go to the coalition center, go and guide the EC, go and do this, and
to make sure they're counting the right.
That's not the right thing. However, we should say we are grateful that nothing happened there. Now we see results coming in, and it presupposes that John Mahama is the one who is winning. Bawumia sits and sees. We can't sit here and say that we know what was in his head, but at least let's assume that looking at what happened throughout the night, they realize that it will be right that we concede. What does it take away from you to concede? I mean, for it may, it's not that it will change the results, but it may endear you to someone. So much so that they think that you have done a gentlemanly thing, or you have been diplomatic enough to concede defeat. It doesn't take anything away from you as a person, as a candidate, or as a party. To do that.
I'll come back to you on that, but we currently have Dr. Afriyie. He's a political analyst from Massey Technical University. Good morning, sir. You're welcome to ABC News. This is the Post Center.
Yes, good morning, and how are you?
I'm doing well, Doc. Yourself?
Yes, I'm very good. Sorry for my voice. I think I've been on speaking a lot for the past few days, so if you see some change in my voice, pardon me for that.
That's all right, Doc. Now, I mean, quickly jumping into it, this is the first time in a very long time. In fact, this is the first time we're actually having a party, a flag bearer, concede defeat in under 24 hours when EC has not yet officially declared the result. What do you make of this, Doc?
Yes, before that, let me congratulate the NDC and the flag bearer of the NDC, that is the president-elect. Even though he has not been declared by the EC, I think the data shows that they have won massively and also overwhelming majority in Parliament. So I think they have done well. And I think the parties, they have all their data or their information. So if the margin of win or the loss will determine whether you have to come out to congratulate the winner. And I think that is what has been done this morning by His Excellency the Vice President. And I think he has done very well for conceding defeat, because the data shows that they have lost miserably and humiliating defeat, and which is something that the party needs to sit down and look at it, and there's nothing wrong. And so that is a very good step for our democracy.
Yeah, so looking at how the election went and looking at the landslide between both parties when it comes to both parliamentary and, you know, presidential, what are some of the dynamics that were at play here?
You know, the dynamics for the results of the elections, it determines about how your strategy works in the last minutes. And you can realize that the two parties, the NPP and the NDC, were able to strategize, especially the NDC. I think those of us that in the Ashanti region, they came here with all their big men and women to speak to the people of Ashanti. And that is also a strategy that they adopted. And you know, I think one other thing that also made the NDC, the strategy was basing, stressing on the economy as a critical issue for Ghanaians. And that is also one thing that worked for them. And also the president, Nana Addo factor, is also a contributing. They use it a lot in terms of Nana Addo not listening to the people of, that is that the Ghanaians, they are not, the president is not listening to Ghanaians about concerns. And these strategies work. It also worked for the latter part within the few months of the election, the demonstration, all these things worked for the NDC. So I believe that the MPP were not able to look at certain things in the larger perspective. They thought that people might not be looking at the economy as a major factor, but they will be looking at projects and other things that the party thought that Ghanaians would look at it. And unfortunately, Ghanaians were much more concerned about their living standard, the cost of living, as compared to what the MPP was touting them to. And you know, my dear sister, what also happened was that the young ones didn't vote. And that is critical for the election 2024. That is what happened yesterday, and that is serious. The young ones that were most beneficial for the free SHS and other things were not much involved in this election, because they thought that the free SHS is a normal thing, a government policy that they have to benefit from it. So they just went into it, and then they are benefiting from these things. So that is all. And that is also one thing that didn't work for the MPP as well. So generally, I think that the strategies of the parties, especially the NDC, worked very well for them. But the MPP, I think that the strategy would not work for them, because they did not concentrate on other issues, but looking at other things for their campaign. And that was an unfortunate situation for them to lose that humiliating defeat.
Doc, so aside strategy, I mean, yesterday we can say that we clearly witnessed low voter turnout. I mean, if we have to be honest, looking at the numbers that went to the various polling stations to actually, you know, cast their vote, you realize that there was low voter turnout. And for us to have such results, looking at the time space and the gap, how did this play any key role in what we're seeing before us?
You know, when you have a low turnout of from that is 50 to 60%, and within that turnout, your stronghold, or let's say the other centers, your opposition or your opponent can attract more percentage or higher percentage within that 60%, then probably you are going to lose the election. And that was what happened when the turnout was low, but the opponents was having higher turnouts for their party members. And that was what happened, and that made the MPP to lose that. Because in Ashanti region, if you have below 60% or 60 or below 65%, you are bound to lose the election. And that is what happened. There was generally total low turnout for these elections. But the MDC benefited from this low turnout because their people went to vote, and that is what made the difference.
Definitely, Doc. Now, looking into the political future, we know that looking at all the, provisional results that are coming in, we can say that this officially makes the NDC's Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman, the first female vice president here in Ghana. What impact is this going to have on the political future of the country?
Yes, and I think that I would take the opportunity to also congratulate the Professor Nana Jane for that that kind of feat that she has got for this country to become the first woman vice president, and that is also going to serve much more for women in this country about their position. So I think she has a great task to ensure that she perform to perform to the standard that women will be seen as performance or to be seen as capable of handling such position, and even in future for the presidency. So I think she needs to improve herself very well for the position that she will be assigned from 7th January, so that women will be more encouraged to aspire to higher positions in this country, probably the presidency. I think she has done well and needs to be congratulated for that position.
Definitely. Now, I'm going to hand you over to my colleague. I'm not doing this alone. My colleague Samuel Nyimagbo is here, and he has a question for you, Doc.
Hello, Doc. This is Samuel.
Yes, okay, Samuel. I'm also Samuel. So.
Right. Doc, I want to know, you look at the results that we are seeing. It's a landslide. People say it's a bloodbath. You look at the NDC is likely to win with over 1.2 million votes, the highest that would have happened in Ghana's political landscape. For the NPP, is there redemption in this in the next 4 years? Can they, after losing elections by this margin, make any redemption for themselves in 2028 if you are putting it together?
Yes, Samuel, you see, what happened, I call this as humiliating defeat. A defeat that will cause you to go back, to sit down and look at the issues very well. And here the issues need to come out with various areas in how you were able to have that humiliating defeat. From the party is one, from, let's say, how the campaign went on. At the same time, look at the cloud of the President Nana Addo, because there's also some kind of effect from President Nana Addo on Dr. Bawumia on this result. So this is so, I have not seen this kind of for all this while of our elections. I have not seen this kind of margin, and that is critical. And even I know that my NDC friends are even surprised about the margin, because they never thought that they can have that margin. But in all, it has come, and the MPP needs to sit down, go back to the drawing boards, and look at they have to look at every critical analysis of their loss, because it affected their parliamentary seats, where the NDC is having more than 185 or 185 seats, which means that currently the NDC is having 137. So for you to lose 48 seats, that is serious.
That is serious.
And I think that the party needs to sit down and look at a lot of things that went wrong for them to have this humiliating defeat. They have to sit down and that is bad and unfortunate on the part of the NPP government and the party as well. They need to go back.
Right, Doc. Now, if you look at the parliamentary results, like you mentioned, we are seeing NDC likely to win some 185 seats by end of this election. Now, in 2020, the NPP struggled very much to get majority. In fact, they needed the help of an independent candidate to get that 138 seat to be the majority caucus. What really has gone wrong since 2016, when the party had a very huge majority with 169 seats? Then from 169, they came to 137, and it seems like they didn't learn from it. And now from 137, they are coming down further, and NDC is going to 185. What has happened within the NPP, especially on the parliamentary side?
You know, when the NDC lost the election, in the soul of Dr. Botchwey, rest in peace, they took, they will undertake, they took a certain analysis why they lost. And I think that they realized that through their report, they make a lot of changes. And you know, the NDC strategized a lot. They looked at the NPP, their kind of weaknesses in terms of parliamentary selection, in terms of personality changes, personality traits, and they were able to look at these weaknesses and use all the available weakness that stem from the economy and add it up to able to make these changes in their parliamentary candidate by increasing it and now increasing it more. So it's the NPP that has lost touch about the realities, especially in government, to able to sit down and look at some of these issues very well, so that they could have just re-strategized. You see, when you are in government, you think that you are all in all. What went wrong for the loss of the NPP parliamentary candidate is that they were not listening. They were not listening to the grassroots. Some party members always ensure that their interests for other party, other individuals, will always be what the constituency has to decide on. So because of that, it made a lot of people not to vote for these candidates. Even those that have been in power for all this while, they should have changed them. But you see that some of these candidates will think that they have the experience and they have to continue to be to be the parliamentary that is the MP. So you know, there's a whole of myriad kind of issues that need to be looked at, and also again, you realize that the economy that the NDC used also transcended to what these constituencies and these MPs. You know, the economy has been one of the critical issues that the NDC used, and it has really worked for them. So they transcend to all the various constituencies and use that against their MPs as well. And that is what the strategy that worked for the NDC. So, you know, I would say that the NDC, the NPP was complacent in terms of being in government and thinking that they can use projects and other things to convince Ghanaians. By not listening to Ghanaians was also one critical issue, that because when people complain about economic issues and you can do something about it, why wait to the last minute? When people are complaining, even within the party, that they have to change some individuals or do some reshuffling so that people can be made accountable to other areas or bring new expertise, still that was not being accepted. But the president was able to do things without looking at other concerns. And these are all the paybacks that these what do you call it, the voters or Ghanaians will vote against you. I believe that they voted against these presidential, that is, vote, and also the candidates and also the MPs, that is the PCs, due to some kind of, there is the President Nana Addo about how he handled certain issues, and also how these parliamentary candidates were chosen or imposed, and also how some of these living conditions or the economic issues were handled. And that is what actually caused the NDC. They were complacent and thinking that they can make the right changes based on their own experience. And that was an unfortunate situation that has before the MP.
Look, this is Abna. I want to add in by asking this question. Looking at the complacency of all of this, the NPP lost so many votes, so many seats during the parliamentary elections in 2020. You would have expected that they would up their game. Looking at the hang parliament we had and how much the hang parliament has had an impact on our development as a nation, beyond complacency, what are some of the things that the NPP failed to note and to work on? Because these results make it seem like for 4 years they didn't go to the drawing board, they didn't go to the table to look at the mistakes they made 4 years ago to be able to remedy it. What really, beyond complacency, could have accounted for this abysmal showing? Anybody will say it has been an abysmal showing by the party, losing some seats whilst in power, and then the next time again you lose it again. Very abysmal showing. What could account for that?
Yes, you know that what accounted for the number of seats being lost is because they didn't look at science and data, or maybe based on data. You know, when you are picking parliamentary candidates, the people themselves, and you know, the independent candidates has also played a role in this loss. And that is something that the party overlooked. The NPP did not learn their lesson from 2020 elections for their parliamentary candidates, when a lot of independent candidates was identified, like was part of their loss. So they didn't work on that. That is one. At the same time, they were not able to handle these two candidates from the Ashanti region. That is Nana Bediako and Alan. All because they are coming from your stronghold, and you are supposed to handle them in a way, not in a hard or confrontational way, but you should have worked things out to handle in terms of their numbers or their campaign. And that is also one thing that happened. But you know, you can realize that the NPP lost 2024 elections, I think about 2 years ago. And that is also based on the policies and the complaints that also came out that the party or the government was not able to handle. And a few months also, the strikes and other issues that came in the latter part before the election also has contributed to the diffuse of how the voters were able to make their choices, especially the undecided and also the floating or the new voters as well. But those people that decided a year or so are those that decided to vote against the party because the party was not listening to them. And as I was saying, the way that they choose their parliamentary candidates, that is the party system need to change, because the party has limited people to choose their constituency executives, their polling agents, their MPs, and also presidential. So these few people, and the way they elect them based on materialistic agenda, also influence people that, okay, fine, if you have elect people based on what they will give it to you, then when you also coming to us, we also need to get certain things before we can also vote for you. And that was what, because when you look at the way the MPP and the NDC, so the NDC selected their leader, I think they have a wider delegate system for their parliamentary candidates and also the presidential. Right. And that was what is missing in the MPP, and that resulted in just some few people electing or selecting their parliamentary candidates as also the presidential candidate.
Right.
So if they could work on enlarging these kind of people, that is the party structure, I think it can also help that. The party did not learn from the 2022 experience what led them to lose a lot, and that has resulted in this massive loss for the MPP.
Right. Doc, finally, before we take leave of you, I want to know, you are suggesting a total audit of the whole procedure for the New Patriotic Party. Will you say that some of the MPs that have lost the seat, the big wigs, you look at Esla Usu, we are hearing, is losing a seat. You look at Henry Korti, has lost his seat. Katie Hammond, Adansi Asukwa MP, has also lost his seat. Would you say it's time for the NPP to face off these persons and bring on new people, especially when there is a sense of dislike, resentment towards some of these people who have been in the party for long? Is it time for the NPP to fade them off and bring new guys, new energetic persons to represent them in parliament?
You know, what happened is that I always have a problem of when people are elected another term and they want to still continue without seeing that they will lose the election. And this is where I think that the party structure should make use of their research or academics that will come out with a detailed research of every constituency. And that is what is missing. Because when you go to the ground, a research will provide what is happening so that you know how to handle those issues. Even when these research findings have been identified or has been given out, you see party bigwigs trying to impose their key people on those constituencies. And that is wrong. I don't see why Katie Hammond, Honorable Katie Hammond, should be there. And they themselves as individuals, when you come to realization that you have lost touch with the people, even you can even suggest to the party that no, I won't go again. But they will still move on and want to ensure that, thinking that they are powerful, they have positions, they can influence the system. No, I don't think that is it can augur well for such individuals. Even some constituencies, if the MPP has not been smart to change some of these big ways or these experienced guys, then they could have even lost more seats than what they are experiencing now. Yeah. So it is something that they have to set up. That when people go for some time and they lose touch with their people, you have to change them. And the party should make use of impartial research findings of certain constituencies or constituencies. And that is what will make the difference for them. And they should be bold to advise people that the findings shows that you have lost touch with the people, but not party members. So you have to set aside for another one to come in. But these things have been overlooked, and now when you are in power, you are so power drunk that you think that everything can be done through power, through security, through kind of influence. But at the end of the day, the constituency that you find yourself are not only delegates that is going to vote for you, but the general masses or the constituency are going to vote for you. And that is what matters, and they have to look at as well.
Thank you so much for your time here with us. We've actually been engaging with Dr. Samuel Afriyie. He happens to be a political analyst at the Kumasi Technical University. Now, moving on to other issues. I mean, before we take a look at the video where we get to see the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party conceding defeat, let's all take note that today happens to be the birthday of a former I mean, first gentleman of the land. I'm talking about J.A. Kufuor. Today happens to be his birthday, so we're sending birthday wishes
to him. I mean,
yes.
I think it would have been a great birthday present to him if his party had broken the age and all. But still, a hearty birthday to him. I think it will be a blessing that all of us grew up till that
his age.
Yes. So a big happy birthday to him. And this year he's been very visible
in the political space. That's
the last gap of campaign, the NPP threw him into it to come. They knew things were not going wrong, and persons like former President J. Kufuor was someone that the NPP thought could have saved the day.
I mean, he is a stalwart. I mean, the man has done great things. I mean, if we were to look at it.
Yeah, unfortunately, it didn't suffice, but we still wish him a happy birthday. Wish him that he has some more years to his age before, if God will take him, God save him. But
good health. Good
health is what we want.
Yes, good health is very, very important. For you're still watching ABC News GH, this is the morning after the election, and Ghana definitely has decided. We're taking you through, the running course of what's happening after the elections here in the political space. But let's take a look at the visual where we get to see the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party as he conceded defeat.
Election results that former president indicate Excellency that former president has won the presidential election decisively. The NDC has also won the parliamentary election, even though we await final collation for a number of seats. However, I believe ultimately that these will not change the overall outcome. I have just called His Excellency John Dramani Mahama to congratulate him as President-elect of the Republic of Ghana. I said during the signing of the Peace Pact that I was sure of two things. Ghana will win and peace will reign. The people of Ghana have spoken. The people have voted for change at this time, and we respect that decision with all humility. I thank God Almighty for how far He has brought me, and I submit to His will. I am making this concession speech before the official announcement by the Electoral Commission to avoid further tension and preserve the peace of our country. It is important that the world investor community continues to believe in the peaceful and democratic character of Ghana. These are our most important assets. Ghana is more important than our individual political ambitions, and we must always put Ghana first. While this was not our desired outcome, I say this is part of the democratic process. We put our best foot forward in the contest, explaining our policies and programs. However, it is sometimes the case that the voter would have other ideas. I am very proud of the efforts of our campaign team, and I thank them very much. I assure His Excellency John Dramani Mahama of my full support in the transition process. As committed Democrats, we pledge to ensure that we have a very smooth transition so that the business of government will continue seamlessly. The MPP would offer the needed support to the new government in a very responsible way. Ladies and gentlemen, we have conceded defeat like any consummate Democrat would do, but we have not abandoned the fight to transform Ghana and expand opportunities to all sections of our society. We will not be a disruptive opposition, even though we would subject government actions and policies to strict scrutiny in the interest of our beloved nation. Our MPs, I am convinced, will do a thorough job to advance our democracy and ensure that the citizenry gets the best out of the democratic dispensation. To the rank and file of the New Patriotic Party, I know the feeling hurts, given that this is not the result you worked for. I know you would feel there is darkness ahead. That is natural, especially when in all sincerity you gave the assignment your all. But I assure you that we will regroup and come back even stronger. We will take stock of events and pick lessons to guide us going forward. In the interim, I urge you all to look into the future with optimism and hope. We may have lost the battle, but not the war. Let me also use this occasion to congratulate all MPs elect, with special emphasis on those from the MPP side. I would like to use this opportunity to thank His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, President of the Republic of Ghana and Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, for his support and guidance over the years. I extend sincere thanks to the First Lady, Mrs. Rebecca Akufo-Addo, for her support and wise counsel throughout my tenure as Vice President and during the 2024 electioneering campaign. I would like to thank my wife, Haja Samira Bawumia, who has gone over and above the call of duty in her support for me. My thanks also go to my children, my brothers and sisters, and the entire Bawumia family for their support. I also thank my running mate, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, and his wife Alma for their strong support in this campaign. I am eternally grateful to our revered traditional rulers, religious leaders, and the generality of Ghanaians for their support. I thank former President Kufuor, the Council of Elders, executives, and the rank and file of the New Patriotic Party for their solid support. To all Ghanaians who voted for me and the MPP to implement our proposed bold solutions, I thank you for the confidence you reposed in us. To all Ghanaians who didn't vote for me and the MPP in this particular election, I thank you for considering my proposals, even though you exercised your right to choose by settling on the eventual winner. Let me also thank the Electoral Commission for overseeing yet another transparent and fair election in Ghana. I also thank the security services for their role in maintaining the peace. My thanks also goes to the media for their excellent reportage.
Well, you just watched the message given by the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. But before my team and I actually, dissect and take a look at what he said, let's head straight to the Ashanti region. We'll actually be speaking to Patal Payaga. He's actually a correspondent there to let us know what is happening in the region. And if you know, this is a very stronghold of the New Patriotic Party, so definitely is one key place you want to find out. How's the atmosphere? What is currently happening? Hello, Patal.
Yes, hello.
You're welcome to ABC News. I want to find out currently, what is the atmosphere like in the Ashanti region?
So I would say that in most parts of the Ashanti region, the supporters some of them are still waiting patiently, but it appears the mood in NPP-dominated areas, it's quite silent as compared to what we saw in the 2020 election. But for the NDC supporters, it is time to jubilate, even though the EC is yet to officially declare the results. But the vice president coming out to concede defeat at this moment has given the NDC supporters some kind of excitement and saying that they are going to rule this country at the moment.
Action. What message is it sending to the camp of the NPP?
For the NPP, some of them, even though they are jubilating and in areas where they've won the parliamentary election, but for the presidential, they are quite not happy about the turn of events, because for some of them, they say that the victory that the NDC or the flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, John Dramani Mahama, is expected to poll in this particular election, it appears it's actually surprising many of the NPP supporters. And at the moment, they are quite not happy with what is happening or what has emerged at the moment concerning the fact that their flag bearer had to even come out to publicly concede defeat to the former president. But for some of them, yes, even though they've lost the presidential election, they have to celebrate because they've won in areas where they've continuously dominated since 1992 as in terms of the parliamentary front.
Centers, what is happening? Yes, he's come out to concede defeat, but what is currently happening?
Yeah, so from where I am at the moment, I am at the Offenso North constituency. And as I speak with you, there is a confusion here at this particular constituency, particularly at the Constituency Coalition Center, which is the Akumadan District Police Headquarters. Some supporters of the NDC thronged the Coalition Center, saying that the EC has delayed in declaring the parliamentary results. And for the NDC supporters, they say that their candidate has they are claiming that their candidate has won in this particular race, but the EC is delaying in declaring their candidate as the winner of this election. But at the moment, even though the EC is yet to declare their results, the NDC supporters have stormed the police headquarters. They are vandalizing the police headquarters at the moment. Myself, I had to run for my life because they actually chased me when I tried taking some videos of that. And I can say that the NDC supporters have vandalized the Akumadan police headquarters. The louvers have been some of them have been broken at the moment, and then the door to the coalition center, which is the police headquarters itself, part of it has been broken at the moment. And I'm actually where I am right now. I'm unable to see what is happening currently at that particular place at the moment, because if I get close, these NDC supporters would chase me just as a bit earlier.
Yeah, we actually definitely need you safe. We don't want you getting too close. But do you see any security personnel on ground? I mean, any attempt by any security personnel to actually bring law and order to the place?
So, in as much as it's the police headquarters, some police officers were actually there, but the numbers were so huge that they couldn't contain them. Some of them had to actually run for their lives, and they told the media people to do same because their numbers were quite small to be able to contain the huge numbers of NDC supporters who made their way to the police headquarters. At the moment, even though I'm seeing that, yes, some of the supporters are standing close, but they are still standing in scattered numbers. I don't really know what is at the moment happening there, and I'm fearing that if I get close, I might be chased again.
No, so Fatau, I don't want you to get close.
Exactly. So I am at a very far place whilst monitoring the situation. But I don't know. I was told that some military officers were going to be called in to control the numbers, but as of now, I am unable to confirm whether these military officials have come at the moment trying to control the number, the NDC supporters who have gone on rampage, saying that the EC deliberately delayed the declaration of the results because they are trying to, they are alleging that the EC is trying to manipulate or rig the election in favor of the NPP's Dr. Fred Shea Asamoah.
So if I get you correctly, all this is because, I mean, they allegedly are believing that the EC there is trying to rig it in favor of the NPP candidate. But then, why are they attacking the police headquarters?
The police headquarters is where the coalition center is. So the police headquarters has been designated as the constituency coalition center. So these NDC supporters say that in many of the constituencies across the Ashanti region and the nation at large, EC officials have declared the results, and they are sensing that yes, the EC here is done with everything. It's just left for them to declare the results, but they do not know why the process is delaying at this particular moment. So and for them, they are sensing that particularly maybe the EC is trying to rig the election in favor of the NPP.
So if that is a collation center, and I mean from the videos we're seeing on the screen, definitely what they're doing is not right, it's not lawful, and it's not something that should actually be happening right now. How safe are the officials and the ballot boxes? How safe is the counting process that is going on?
So the EC officials actually halted the process, and some of them actually tried to run for their lives because of this particular situation. And as I said, even the police officials themselves, I saw one officer who was in front of me, and he on his back, I saw CID boldly written on that. He was fast running for his life as well, and I was following him, and that applied to many of the officers who were outside. They had to run for their lives because of the rising tension at the coalition center. So the EC officials themselves, I also, some of them actually ran for their lives, but others were also locked in some of the offices so that these supporters wouldn't have access to them. But even before that happened, I was told that the EC actually was done with its coalition. It was just left for them to declare the results. And from what I saw, the MPP's candidate was leading. He polled over 20,000 votes, as against 18,000 votes for the NDC candidate. I saw that, and some of the EC officials told me that was the official results, but they were waiting because of the rising tensions. They didn't want to declare the results at that moment because they felt that could have degenerated into or that could have exacerbated the situation. So they had to hold on for the tensions to go down before they would go ahead to declare the results.
So the tensions began before they got the results, they officially told you?
Obviously. So when the collation was happening, in fact, in the morning, the place was looking like it was deserted. Actually, there was no one at the polling station. So I thought that it was going to be very, very peaceful because there wasn't anyone at the polling station at the time, particularly around 6-7 a.m. But when it got to 9-10 a.m., then these NDC supporters began to team up or began to throng the coalition center. And when they got there, they said that they heard from some media stations that their candidate had won this particular seat, and for that reason they were coming to hear the official declaration by the EC official. So when they got to the polling station at the coalition center, the EC was still tabulating and putting the figures together. Instead of them to remain calm and listen to what the EC officials or observe what the EC officials were doing, these NDC supporters got there, and then they were claiming that their candidate had won. They began to jubilate, and some of them say that they want the EC officials to come out and officially declare their results, and that if that isn't done, they were going to go into the coalition center. So the police tried to contain them, but these huge numbers of the supporters forced their way into the coalition center. They broke parts of the door to the coalition center, and in fact, the louvers of the building were all destroyed by these NDC supporters, and eventually entered the coalition center. At that moment, the police officers or the security officials who were there could not contain the numbers. Some of them had to also flee for their lives.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Fatal. What we're going to tell you is that please make sure you're safe. Make sure you stay away, that you stay directly away from the violence. Anything that endangers you, please do not engage in it. And if there's anything new, you can report please do well to keep us updated. We'll definitely come to you. But for, I mean, security personnel or officials in the Ashanti region, anybody around the Kumadan police headquarters, we definitely need security on ground to keep this situation under control, because vandalizing the police headquarters is not going to solve anything, and this definitely does not bode well, you know, for the NDC in that region. Yes, there's some wins, there's some loss, but then how you determines. We're trying to avoid violence, and like we say here, hashtag vote not violence. That is the key thing. What you need is your thumb, not your fist. Do not go out there and engage. And you saw the disturbing footages coming from the Kumadan police headquarters. This is not what we don't need the youth engaging in this. This is not what we need. If EC is actually delaying, there's definitely an appropriate measure, an appropriate way to go about getting the information from them, or getting them to come and actually say, okay, these are the results on the ground, you know. And when it comes to some of these parliamentary candidates and member of parliament, speaking to your people, speaking to your constituents is very important, because look, you are not the one carrying out the action, but the kind of information serves as fuel. It serves as fuel. You're either fueling the fire in them, or you're watering the heat down. So how you engage with the youth and with these people in your various constituencies is very important, because we do not want issues like this to escalate. It definitely is disturbing. So if we can get, you know, some security personnel to the Kumadan police headquarters to definitely help quell this before it actually goes further, because from what Fatal said, some of the EC officials have been locked in some of the offices. Yeah. Yes, and a whole CID is running for his life.
I think we're becoming notorious for things like this. Too notorious for this. These things should not characterize our elections. We are going to vote for a leader. If I vote and the leader isn't who I voted for, does it mean I should do? And in this case, the NDC has the main position in the land, the presidency. These people should be brought, should be called to order. It's becoming one too many, that anytime we have elections, some young persons must be used as conduits. Sometimes even using themselves. Nobody has to incite them, but you see, it's become a trend, and so you are ready to fight, to go and fight for someone, even if they haven't sent you, but it's becoming one too many, especially at a police station, using a stick, a log to break.
That gentleman, he was very determined to break the window of the place.
That's bad.
And I think it's not surprising, although it's unfortunate that this is happening. It's not surprising because realize that yesterday both parties held press conferences and they asked their supporters
to go to the coalition centers.
That is what, up to date, I'm still trying to wrap my mind around.
And
what are the supporters going to do at the coalition centers?
The something was go and protect the EC.
Not to cut you guys, but we have Michael Wale on the line, so I'll definitely come back to you guys. Hi, Michael.
Yeah, hello.
Yes, Michael. So tell us, where are you reporting from, and what is currently happening over there? What's the atmosphere like?
Thank you. Yeah, speaking to you now is at the Joso constituency. When you come here at the Joso constituency, let's say situations are very calm. The election so far has been peaceful, it's been very calm all the way throughout yesterday up to today. Well, when we were here at the collection center yesterday, collating various police centers, later into the night, it was left with us with the only EC officials and the polling agents of various political parties. And of course, the independent candidate as well, that's Fredria, was also around. And of course, together with some few NDC supporters who were also here throughout the night jubilating. As I speak to you now, the premises of the coalition center...
Michael, could you please speak out for me? I'm really struggling to hear you.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, it's much better. Please maintain this for me.
Yeah, so as I was saying, so as I speak to you now, the coalition center, the surroundings is empty now. When you look into the town, the supporters of the NDC have moved into the town, jubilating left and right, and then saying that they have the lead, and then their candidate, their presidential candidate, that is John Dramani Mahama, is on the list, what they are saying. But when you come here, the Joso constituency, running through some of the figures that we have with the parliamentary per se, you see that the MPP candidate that is on the ticket, Kwabena Boateng, is leading the Joso constituency with 33,702. And then followed by the NDC candidate, that is Jerin Asante, also with 11,462. Third in place is the independent candidate, that is Okain Quenin. He is also leading with 541. And then followed by Fredria Ajiman Joseph, who is also leading with 266 total votes. And then, of course, followed by our own Esther Osei of the CPP, also with 184, and George Japa, also with 156. Now, one thing I've also realized is that one particular thing about the NDC presidential candidate, that is Madam Jerin Asante, though
parliamentary, you mean?
Can you hear me?
Yes, NDC parliamentary candidate.
Yes, though here at the Joso constituency, she lost to Kwabena Boateng of the NPP. And then when you come to the presidential candidate to our own Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is also leading with 34,026. 34,026. And with our own John Dramani Mahama also being second with 11,870. Now the reason being is that though Jerin Asante lost to the seat, but looking at her facial expression and how she is looking at, though she lost to the seat, but she is also very happy, not feeling defeated. And then we approached her and then asked her why is she not so sad, but she is still happy within herself, even though she couldn't at least win the seat for the people of the Joso. She was so happy that what they have guided, even though she lost the seat, but the number of votes that she was able to obtain here at the Joso, meaning that on her first time on ticket of at least contesting for the parliamentary candidates here at the Joso constituency, the people of the Joso have really shown her love. And not that alone, but also with the information that they have gathered that their candidate, their presidential candidate on ticket of John Dramani Mahama also leading, meaning the National Democratic Congress also have a good side of the vote, meaning that she is also very happy. So not only that she was defeated, she being defeated does not bother her, but rather she is very happy for the party in general. But here, when you come to the Joso constituency, speaking to you at the coalition center here, the premises is empty, left with only the EC officials, party agents of various political parties, together with some security personnel, the police, and then some fire service personnel, and of course, some media personnel also here waiting for the remaining polling centers to be collated before we leave here. So out of the, the Joso constituency is a total number of 220 polling centers. And out of the 220 polling centers, we are able to collate so far 141 polling centers out of the 220. Remaining 79 polling centers yet to be collated. So it's a long way, it's a long journey. We are still here waiting for the 79 remaining to be collated. Then we can get to know the total number of votes that these various candidates on the ticket of these various political parties got. So on the ticket of Joso here, the environment, I must say, is very calm. Throughout yesterday till now, the election has been very peaceful. At the collation center here, the election has been very peaceful. And then we are still looking and then waiting for each official, the returning officer, to finish with their collating for us to get the grand total number of the votes that these various political parties also got here at the Joso constituency. So when it comes to Joso constituency, in the main town, that is where the supporters have moved jubilating. They've really moved out of the collation center, not even bothering themselves with the remaining polling centers yet to be collated. But for them, indeed, it's a win for them, and they've started jubilating here at the Joso constituency.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Michael. I mean, for the fact that there's peace, for the fact that there's security there is important. But like you've said, that out of the 220, you guys have been able to get 141. So you're just waiting for results coming from 79, which is, I mean, very, very good. But the fact that generally you can report that there's peace. Michael? Okay, so we'll definitely try to get him back, and we'll still be speaking to somebody else, but I have my team here, so I mean, Ejisu definitely is peaceful.
Yes. Like
we are glad that Ejisu is peaceful.
Very much so. Like we're mentioning, the tactics of deploying supporters to coalition centers doesn't make any sense.
It's becoming old, and I think disgraceful
for political parties
that it will happen like that,
because they know the process. They know that elections are declared, the results are declared at polling stations. What is sent to the coalition
I
centers.
think today is a movie trade. Before we go directly, we have Dr. Tanko on the line. Dr. Rashid. I'm not more than excited. We have Dr. Tanko Rashid Computer on the line. He is the Deputy Director for Elections NIT for the NDC. Doc, you're welcome to ABC News GH.
Let me say good morning to you and to your cherished viewers. How are you?
Doc, congratulations.
Thank you. As usual, I told you.
Dr. Tanko, the last time we spoke, you told me that Abuna, we are going to get 54%, and that I, Dr. Rashid Tanko, am the one in the seat at the moment. So I want to say congratulations to you. You were emphatic about being in the seat and making sure that your party gets what you want. So congratulations.
Thank you. I told you that, look, I was targeting 56, but I'll bring it to 54. I'm too sure of that. But little did they know that the plan and strategy we have put in place, look, they didn't know what we were doing. They thought we were joking. But we knew that these people, we are going to finish them and defeat them once and for all. No. Because I know NPP is not a match for NDC when it comes to electoral matters. It's just one or two reasons why they manage themselves into the governance of this country.
Dr. I'm giving you back to Epiphania so that Epiphania will ask you the questions we have for you.
Yes.
Very well. Very well.
Yeah, so congratulations, Doc.
Thank you. Thank you. And the victory is for Ghanaians.
Looking at the fact that you were very confident about this win, I want to find out, I mean, compared to 2020, what was the difference? What did you guys do differently when it came to your IT room?
Very well. Actually, I told you that the issue was not about the IT itself. The issue was about the human resource. It's not about, because if you look at our electoral system, it's a manual process. Okay. And so we targeted the human resource to make sure that we have the best of human resource to handle all our processes. And we started it way back early December. By November, January, we were practicing issues that we used not to do. And we had to train a lot of people. And some of them wrote exams. Even our directors of elections wrote exams. So it's not something that we've just gotten on silver platter. We've worked for it. Because we knew we were dealing with a very crooked electoral commission, which was a compromised electoral commission, which was ready to rig the election for MPP with all the activities. So we're fighting a battle of two opponents. That is why we had made our mind. Because we're fighting an opponent who was ready to rig election for our major opponent. So we knew. So we had to work assiduously and work overnight to make sure that we get the human resource right. The IT component was just 20% of transmitting the results.
So when it comes to the human resource aspects, like you're saying, I mean, you said they wrote exams. You invested in them. You trained them?
Yes, we trained them. We trained them severally. We trained our party agents. We trained our counting agents. We trained our regional directors of elections, our constituency director of elections. We trained all of them. We tested them. Those who didn't pass, make the mark, we dropped them. And we had the caliber of persons that were recruited to do this training were high-level educated persons. We're talking of professors lecturers of universities. We are talking of former officers of the Ghana Armed Forces, former officers of the Ghana Police Service, and other security service. We had all of them who had come into our training. We trained them well to understand our electoral system, understand the processes of elections in Ghana. So I'm not surprised that we outwitted MPP and their collaborators in the Electoral Commission.
I mean, yes, we know that the Electoral Commission is officially yet to declare the results, but looking at all the provisional results coming in, we can say that the NDC has won. And looking at this, I mean, there are some constituencies, there are some, stations that are yet to bring in their results. Some of the results are pending in some constituencies and collation centers. So far, what has the NDC noticed? What are the issues that you had with this election?
Well, we are satisfied with our internal collation of the results. We are very much satisfied. We know the results as of. You remember I told you by 11 p.m. we beat MPP. Yesterday by 11 p.m. we are beating them hands down. Just that we didn't want to call the election and then people would think that NDC is manufacturing figures or not. That's all we're going to appeal. But by 11 p.m. we knew we had beaten this law. There was no way they were going to come. But they tried to employ their 2020 tricks of killing people.
Definitely. Doc, can you hear me? Doc, can you hear me? Okay, we'll definitely still try and get Doc definitely back on the line. He is very ecstatic. Yeah, like he has been saying from the beginning that he was sure, he was certain and confident that they were going to win. And from the looks of things,
he asked the deputy director, Epiphania, you as ABC News GH, if you were in a competition with someone, would you say that the other party would win?
See, there's fine. You will not say the other party will win, but the confidence and the surety. He gave a setting percentage.
For me, I also believe that it is because we have a history of changing governments after every 8 years. That also plays a role. And
don't forget, that was what the NPP this time was trying to actually change. They were trying to break that.
So many factors come.
Doc, we have you back on the line.
Very well.
Wonderful. You were making a point before we actually lost you.
Yes, I was saying that they tried to employ their 2020 tactics of murdering people. After murdering 8 people in 2020, they were not satisfied. Yesterday, they wanted to kill more people again, thinking that will win them the election. But we are prepared for them. We are prepared heavily for them.
So I quickly want to find out. I quickly want to find out, Doc, looking at the contentious areas, some of these key contentious, constituencies, how are the numbers looking like for the NDC?
Oh, in fact, we virtually won almost all the regions in Ghana. That's in their follow contest. There are no contests. You've lost election, then you go about destroying ballot boxes. Those ballot boxes, they've already counted the results. The ballot papers had already been counted, and the thing is failed. I don't know. You see, NPP, they don't understand electoral process, and they don't train their people to. It's easy who has been rigging election for them. So that's why they were misbehaving like that yesterday.
Doc, I'm going to hand you over directly to my colleague Samuel. But before that, yes, indeed, unfortunately, lives were lost yesterday, but we cannot directly say to the fact that the NPP killed anybody, because they didn't go there killing anybody. Lives were lost, which was very unfortunate.
Who deployed the army to go there and shoot people? We know them. We know all those army guys who were involved yesterday. They will be called to answer questions.
Samuel,
right?
That's why every time I talk, I say I give explicit warning to security officers to their allegiance should be to the state and not to MPP. Their allegiance is to the state. You sit down and some crooked person would order you go and shoot your colleague Ghanaian. Then you go and be shooting them. Just because they will continue to be in office.
Right,
we are not sure whether they were proper soldiers.
Right, Doc. I want to know one thing that yesterday your party did was to ask your supporters to go to the coalition centers and monitor the procedures and the proceedings in these coalition centers. One will ask, you know the electoral process so well, that elections are declared at the polling stations, the result, the pin sheets are sent to the coalition centers, and they are just added, the figures are just added and sent to the regional level. then from the regional to the national. So why would you ask your supporters to go to collation centers to man or protect the ballot boxes when counting and everything had already been done? That some say led to the chaos and the disruptions we saw in some constituencies that led to even the loss of life you are mentioning about.
My brother, results are announced at the polling stations. They don't declare the election results there. They only announce the results there. And they are asked to paste the pink sheet, a copy of the pink sheet at the polling station for the community to know their results. Ask all the officers, how many of them put the results on the polling station? How many of them put service? None. There is no law which says that you shouldn't come to the collation center. Do you know that collation of results is supposed to be a public event? It's not a secretive thing where you go and lock yourself in the room.
But you have your agents there.
And I'm saying, when you are doing elections at the polling station, don't you have agents?
Yes, you have agents, you
so
have
when you
the
have
media.
Agents there, you tell people that when they come and vote, they should go home and sleep. It's a public event. The law says you should stand 100 meters away from the center. So if I come to the collation center and I'm standing 100 meters away, have I committed any crime?
But we saw your supporters trying to break the what do you call it, the gate in some constituencies in some Madroji like this, trying to break the gates and enter into the collation centers.
Why wouldn't they do that? Why wouldn't they do that? When you have a colonel of the Ghana Armed Forces telling Ghanaians that he will come out with his troops to beat people around collation centers and police stations. Didn't you hear the statement of that colonel?
But Doc, must you meet such statement with these kind of reactions? Aren't you flaming the already flamed situation?
To be for one is to be for ammo. If somebody warns you, you have to arm yourself because you don't know the time he will come. The man has already given us an indication that he was coming around to beat people at the polling stations and then collation center. That when you finish, you go and sleep. So we are prepared for him. So we are prepared for him and his boy. Haven't you some of the soldiers who came will march them out from the collation center? Look, we're ready to defend the democracy of Ghana. And it's allowed in the constitution. Those guys were there to steal the mandate of Ghanaians. You know that what they were doing was treasonable act. Ghanaians have voted, you want to change the mandate to different people. That is treasonable. So we're ready to defend the constitution of Ghana. And that's why we marched up there. And it paid off. It scared them away.
Yes, indeed. To some extent, it scared those people you are alleging were trying to rig the elections. But it also led to the chaos and the loss of life that we've seen.
I am saying that you don't come there to shoot people. Why is it that the police didn't shoot anybody? The police, they were managing the processes. The police managed, the people were with them. And they were managing the process. They that came. I don't know whether they were proper Ghanaian soldiers. I don't think they are Ghanaian. These are MPP bandits.
Doc,
because I mean, why would a trained soldier will go and see a crowd like that and start shooting into them?
Doc.
And start vandalizing material. Do you think they are proper soldiers? To go and destroy electoral materials, beat people up, and scatter all ballot boxes at that place.
On the same issue of vandalizing, currently we actually have NDC supporters who are actually vandalizing property at the Kumadan police headquarters. I mean, we've had a couple of, some of the police officials had to run for their lives. Some of the EC officials had to run. Others have been locked in the rooms. I mean, disturbing visuals are coming out from the Kumadan. And these are NDC supporters that you're clearly seeing vandalizing property at the police headquarters.
Vandalizing property of a police headquarters?
Yes.
Yes, Ekumadan.
It hasn't come to our knowledge.
Well, Doc, if you...
We are not aware of it.
Well, then we're definitely bringing the notice to you. So if information could be sent so that they could stop, because I mean, people are feeling endangered, and some EC officials have actually been locked, and then some police officials have they had to flee for their lives. And if you see the visuals, it's very, very disturbing. Also, put that away. Let's not forget that yesterday we actually saw some visuals coming in from, Obuasi East, where we had an NDC party executive attacking some military personnel in uniform.
What was the military personnel doing over there? Didn't you read their statement which says they shouldn't come near polling stations and collation centers? Haven't you seen their statement? They issued a statement before the election day started. So what were they doing over there? Were they defying their own orders? We were treating them as persona non grata at those areas.
But
because you issue a statement saying that no military officer was going to come near polling stations and collation centers. No military officer until they were invited. So who invited them there?
So in this case, I mean, as much as we don't know who invited them, or regardless of who invited them, Doc, I want to find out, to have a party executive attack a military personnel or an officer in uniform, what message is this sending?
I am saying that you respect your uniform and respect orders from your superior. I'm a trained security officer. I understand intelligence. I always respect security officers because of their uniform. And I expect them to obey orders from higher authority. So if a higher authority issue a statement telling the whole country, Ghanaians, that look, no military officer is going to come to any polling station or collation centers until they are invited. And who are to invite them? Is the police. When the police is inundated with security challenges, then they can invite the military to come and assist them. What were they doing over there? Did they have any challenge? Did the police say they have challenge at those police stations? What were they doing over there? What were they doing over there? Those two guys that the guy was confronted. In fact, he left them. He should have slapped one of them on the face. These are the things they do, and then we think that we are in a state of emergency or military state. What is that? That's coming to intimidate people unnecessarily.
Doc, I want to find out, moving away from security issues and all the violence, I mean, we want to find out, looking at the fact that this has been a landslide victory when we look at the parliamentary level, and this definitely gives the NDC the majority. Now, you are going to have the large numbers, you're going to have the bigger numbers when it comes to the parliament, and this is going to be, well, the 9th parliament. Now, we've seen what happened with, you know, the 8th parliament, having the majority and the back and forth, dragging to Supreme Court. You know, questions are wondering, is the NDC going to abuse this power if they actually go into the 9th parliament?
Well, we are cautious of handling a state power. Anytime the NDC is in power, we don't abuse it. We make sure that we use the power for the benefit of ordinary Ghanaians and to develop the country. That has been our policy. We are not using this, our majority, to come and misbehave like these crooked guys. They just misbehave and the state was just in a state of anarchy. Okay? The impunity was just too much. Everybody was just doing anything by heart. Just going to be appointing party people into state institutions which are not supposed to be like that. Bastardizing citizens. Look at how they bastardize the judiciary. Nobody respects that. We have to come and bring some sanity there. Okay? That is not our mission, to bring our majority to come and start bastardizing or try to circumvent certain processes in order to our benefit. That's not what we're going to do. We are going to use our majority for the benefit of ordinary Ghanaians. Ghanaians are suffering. Things are hard in the country. So we have no honeymoon. We are not going to have any honeymoon. We are going to start quick. In fact, even if they want, we can do the handing over tomorrow. Because this is what are they going to handle?
Someone would say
a lot of things in this country.
One would say that you should relax for January 7 when you are officially handed power to. But moving on with the landslide and the majority you have won in Parliament, this is not just any normal win. It is a win of the people giving you a mandate that you have to live up to. It means that your message has sunk in the minds of the voters. 4 years from here, on today is December 8th. 4 years from here, we'll be talking about elections and the outcome of the 2028 elections. What is the assurance that the mandate that the people have given to you, you will make good use of it? You will deliver on your promises, the plethora of manifesto promises that you've given out to the Ghanaian people?
I can assure you that we are not going to abuse the mandate given to us by Ghanaians. we respect Ghanaians, and we respect their mandate. And I can assure you, they are going to enjoy under our hands. Because we know the issues, we know the problems. We saw our manifesto today, and they listen to it, they believe it, they respect it. When I told you that this gentleman will not get 40% or more than 40%, I knew what I was talking about. Because they have messed up the country to the extent that any serious person will not go and compete for them. They don't know. Some people who are just enjoying and pilfering the state coffers are the people who went and voted for. But see, we cannot keep them in office. So we will respect the mandate given to us, and we will make sure that we implement all the policies that we sold to Ghanaians. We are going to do it. We are going to do. You see, as soon as he is sworn into office, come January 3rd, we are going to business. We are not going to have any honeymoon. I told you, we are not going to have any honeymoon.
Against, Doc, that would be against the words of your flag bearer when he was campaigning. I mean, when during his campaign, he said that in his words, the mess that this government has created, you would need some honeymoon, a kind of a breather to be able to put things together before you quickly start to put things in order. So if you are saying that we are not going to get any honeymoon, you are not going to enjoy any honeymoon, are you going against the words of your flag bearer and now president-elect?
You know the same thing. I'm just repeating what my flag bearer said. We are not going to have honeymoon. If you have these problems at hand and you go honeymooning, do you think you solve the problems for Ghanaians? Ghanaians are looking for answers from us.
He asked for it.
So we should go and do honeymoon. After swearing, we should go and be enjoying ourselves somewhere.
He asked for it when he was campaigning.
He said he's not asking for honeymoon. Did he say he's going to ask for honeymoon? He never said it.
No,
I didn't hear it from him.
No.
He said we are going to go straight into business.
No.
By investigating these criminals, these crooks. They have looted a lot.
Doc,
we have to chase them and bring out the loot.
Doc, I want to bring to your attention that it was that message was clearly delivered to Ghanaians. It was a recorded video session where he spoke to the Ghanaian people and he outlined his policies and mentioned that because of the mess that this government has put in the Ghanaian people to, the NDC, when they come to power, will need a honeymoon. Ghanaians should give them a honeymoon to put things together before we can start to be expectant of you delivering on your policies. That's what I'm trying to bring your mind to.
He never used an honeymoon. He said Ghanaians should give us time to put things together. Doesn't mean it's honeymoon. He never used the word honeymoon. Master, we have these challenges. You are saying that His Excellency John, that is a communicator, expert. He's a communication expert. He's one of you people. He's a journalist.
So if he needs some time.
So he chooses his words carefully when he's speaking. And he knows it. He said it point blank that look, there's too much mess. And we have to recover all the loot. The people have looted heavily. Some have opened bank accounts in their room. Look at that lady, Cecilia Dapa. She opened bank account in her room. Is that how the people should keep money in their bedroom? Millions of dollars, pounds, euros, all the currencies in the world can be found in her room. How can a country develop like this?
Well, once again, finally, before we let you go, thank you so much, Doc. Congratulations also to you. And we've been engaged in Dr. Tanko Rashid Computer. He is the Deputy Director of Elections and IT for the NDC. And he's actually even made mention of the fact that they were going to win, and they have actually got it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, before we move on to discuss anything else, let's head straight to take a look at what's happening in the NDC strong room.
of the land. For when and see your future, development our God. From me to be, the end is surely. Our strategy. Development our God. From me to be, the end is surely. Our strategy. Development our God. From me to be, the end is surely. Our strategy. Development our God. From me to be, the end is surely. Our strategy.
Okay, so you actually saw what the collation room and the strong room look like for the NDC this time, and they've actually put a lot of effort. Talk about technology, talk about personnel, I mean talk about human resource. There was vigilance, there was a lot of effort. You know, they were monitoring various constituencies, various polling stations. Yes, and we actually saw the flag bearer John Dramani Mahama in the strong room as we're looking at the figures, trying to tally, trying to put things together and make sense of what was happening on the screen. But this was for this year. Let's take a look at what the collation center, what their strong room looked like 2020.
Yeah.
Development our God from vision to vision, the end is surely democrat, Ghana, our strength unity. Eja, Suzuza. Arise for Ghana, operation of the land, forward and seek your future. Development our God, from vision to vision, the end is surely democrat, Ghana, our strength unity. Eja, Suzuza. Arise for Ghana, operation of the land, forward and seek your future. Development our God.
So you actually seen the difference between what the strong room looked like in 2020 and in 2024. Definitely a huge improvement, because for 2020 it was just like one room and then they had various screens. Yes. But for this particular election, it was like various, you know, more like a conference center.
Yeah, the party has actually invested in the IT, like just like Dr. Tanko was mentioning, the personnel, the equipment to do the coalition and everything. They have done some investment in that end. It is part of the reason why, as at 11:10 thereabout, they were confident that they were winning.
I mean, when you look at the NPP in 2016, very similar.
Yeah.
And to know that you were winning something, it means you have invested something into it. And because you know there's something to lose for you. When there's something at stake for you, you put in all your efforts, you throw all of your arsenals behind it so that you make sure that you get it. This is obviously 2024 strong room. It's beautiful. It's huge enough. You're seeing a lot of movement and then communication. You see that each monitor has the constituency that it has been assigned to on the walls. We saw that, and this makes life very comfortable for you when you're having conversations.
That's true. So as you can actually see on your screen, I mean, that's John Dumelo and his wife. He actually happens to be the NDC parliamentary elect candidate. He's actually won, and we actually, yes, but in this case, John Dumelo and the wife are the key people in it. So they have won. We have people coming around to congratulate them. It's more like a beautiful moment for them. And looking at Ayawaso West.
Before we get to the Ayawaso West, I want to mention that the NDC didn't want to see a repeat of that 2016 humiliation, where they said they were in a comfortable lead, and it turned out not to be so. So they did a big investment this time around. Now, if you look at yesterday's
comfortably, hold on to your thoughts. I'll come back to you. We currently have Kofi Gamon. He's our correspondent from the Volta region. Kofi.
Yes, I'm here.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm very fine. Good morning.
It's actually afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon,
Hello.
Kofi.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. So, Kofi, what can you report from the Volta region?
Great. So we have just concluded a collation and a declaration of the official and certified results for the Fokwe constituency elections. And right in front of me here, I have the following numbers as produced from the elections. As I mentioned much earlier yesterday, Fokwe has a voter population of 70,644 voters. And after the collation of the election results, all through last night until earlier this morning, the following are the figures that were produced from the elections. in the presidential contest in the Hawkeye constituency, we have the New Patriotic Party polling some 8,526 votes. Ghana Union Movement, that is GUM, 35 votes. Great Consolidated Popular Party, 35 votes. Liberal Party of Ghana, 16. National Democratic Party, 7. CPP, 71. NDC polled some 36,739 votes here in the Hawkeye constituency in the presidential elections. APC had 49 votes.
Kofi, I'm not to cut you, but also not to let you have to go through all the figures. I want to find out definitely who is in the lead, and is NDC sweeping all the constituencies this time in the Volta region?
I have been monitoring a number of them, but as it is now, it will be too early to conclude that the NDC has won all the 18 seats in the Volta region. Of course, for the figures that we are seeing as we speak at this moment, it is looking good for the NDC in terms of the parliamentary, just as you are asking, and so that is the point. But I do not have the full complement of results per the parliamentary elections, and so I'm unable to make an emphatic conclusion on that.
Okay, so at least for the parliamentary, you said it's looking good for the NDC. I mean, which members, which MPs have actually retained their seats?
Okay, so we have, for instance, in the Hawkeye constituency, the NDC MP elect is there with some 31,163 votes. In the Pando constituency, we have also the NDC parliamentary candidates for the area, Mr. Sebastian. They're also polling some 18,326 votes. I am yet to get the Afarato South numbers, but I have a few more that I've also forwarded to studio earlier this morning.
Definitely. So, Dev, you can say that, I mean, they have retained their seats, and you can, from what you've got, based on the provisional results you have and what is available to you, the NDC is, if I use some of these words, in a comfortable lead in the Volta region. Kofi, can you hear me? Kofi, can you hear me? Okay, we'll definitely try and establish communication with Kofi, but then, I mean, like you had, they're in a comfortable lead when it comes to the Volta region, and I don't think this comes as a surprise, because, yes, this is their stronghold. Despite what happened 4 years ago, we still want to actually see that they are actually holding the fort, and this time, if you can see that they've actually put a lot of effort into this.
The only sad thing is that the voter turnout was actually also very low within the region, because if you look at the figures Kofi mentioned, total expected vote was somewhere 76,000, but at the end of the day, you realize that just about 40,000 persons have voted, a little above 50%.
It's why sensitization must also be increased in the next election, and the political parties must also be up to their game. So many. I'm really looking forward to the report, the various reports that will come up after the election.
Especially the voter turnout.
Yes. On voter turnout, yesterday, it's one of the things I kept drumming all over. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to the report, because I feel like there's so many dynamics to this year's elections, and how even the results came up because of the kind of turnout we had. If we had a larger turnout, how would it have looked like?
People said if the turnout was huge, the NPP would have stood a chance.
That was the same thing that Dr. Samuel Efriye this morning was actually mentioning.
And also looking at even the particular places that turnout was low. Volta region is the stronghold of the NDC, still a low turnout. The Ashanti region they didn't show up for the NPP like they would normally show up. Even in the Greater Accra, that was supposed to be the decider, you still didn't see a showing. An apathy that runs through all 16 regions. It means that this is something that reports should be on, and I want to be surprised if somebody's PhD dissertation is on the turnout for this year, and if somebody does this academic paper, I would so much love to read it, because
what really accounted
for it. Because,
but I mean, like you're saying, the Volta region is a stronghold of the NDC. If we flip it over to the Ashanti region, which happens to be the stronghold of the NPP, how many seats did they lose in
So
the results are
far,
still coming in.
the results are coming in, but so far they are almost losing up to 10 seats, which is huge.
Which not only huge, but also very catastrophic for the NPP to lose so much. You see how the Volta region have closed ranks around
the only seats that they lost, they've
recovered it.
Regained
they closed ranks around the NDC and decided that this is, I mean, we give you this as our stronghold, as your stronghold, so we are maintaining the seats for you. And so much so that when you know this is for you, you are confident. Sometimes you're rest assured that no matter what, this is my bank. Entering into the election, a lot of people thought that no matter what, the Ashanti region was going to be that bank that the NPP was going to draw from, were going to fall on. And so the number of days the NPP spent there, granted, the NDC also matched them. Dr. Free in our last conversation said that this was a campaign of was a psychological warfare. Letting you know that even in your backyard, we're also going to pull up there and show you that we can gather the people. Obviously, there are other nuances around all that happened, but the Volta region really closed ranks. Although the turnout was low, they closed ranks around the NDC. We didn't see same for the NPP.
Especially if you look at the percentage that the NDC is getting in the Ashanti region, per what we are gathering, they are getting above 30% in the Ashanti region, which is a
sizable number.
Which is not expected for the NPP, because you remember, going into this election, the NPP were actually targeting
85%. At a point, it was 70%, and then they were very confident. They came and said that, you know what, 75%, 80, then 85.
Now,
yes.
Then they even struggle to make 70%. In the Ashanti region. That is huge for the national the NPP. Also because their running mate is coming from that region.
Exactly.
And he was expected to close the ranks for the party in the region.
It is for this reason that I keep saying that I really am looking forward to the reports that will come. It's not going to be a linear trajectory. I believe that you would have to look at it holistically and also look at it distinctively, because you pick an angle and then you dissect it so much that you understand it in its entirety. Because if you're going to look at it as we all normally look at it, okay, so we made only 70%. What were the things that accounted for that 70% of it? And you leave it at that. You may be missing a certain picture in there. The NPP would want to confidently and also openly, they should open themselves up to receive the critique that they should receive, and also receive the information.
Honestly, they need total audit
and soul searching. The party needs to search its soul and look at things from the top down to the base, and also look at it from the base up, so that they can understand what caused all of the things that happened. One, poor showing. Two, MPs not pulling up. I mean, if the MPs had won and the presidential candidate had struggled, the NPP could say that even in parliament we're still going to have the numbers and then do some work for our party. The numbers in parliament also add to the visibility of your party outside, because how many are you in parliament? How visible are you going to be? Now the pressure mounts on you to be able to do double of the work you were already doing. Even in a hung parliament, how difficult was it to do the work you were doing?
The NDC is almost getting twice of their number in
and if they do now,
looking at the critical state of this, one of these the constituencies that I feel like is something we need to look at is the Adenta constituency. We realize that it's a swing constituency. You know, today, this time they vote NDC, the next time you're out and they bring another person. And for the two candidates that were actually contesting, Akosua Mainu for the NDP, and then Adamu Ramadan. Now he actually has taken it, and this the first time they're retaining.
Abena would remember that when I was doing constituency in focus, I said that Adenta is this time around, it is history. Any of the parties who wins, any of the candidates, be it Kozie or Adamu Ramadan, will make history. Now for Adenta, for Adamu Ramadan, if he had won, which he actually did, he becomes the first sitting MP to win the second term.
Yes.
He becomes the first sitting MP
who has been retained. That's true.
To win the second term. Now Kozie on the other side will become like a first timer, coming just in her first time to win the seat, and also maintaining that history in Adenta where a sitting MP hasn't gone beyond 4 years.
Beyond 4 years.
She would have maintained the history. But
that's why I say, Sami, that they still need a soul searching in this. Kozie, a lot of people believe that she had endeared herself. Yeah. If you listen to conversations,
don't forget she's actually invested a lot of developmental projects. When it
even with the developmental project, it could go negatively against the NDC, the NPP. You know why? Now you start asking questions about where you're getting the money from, and people sometimes. These questions make people not want to give you their vote. So it goes both sides, whether positively or negatively. But I come back to Adamu Ramadan in that, because he had endeared herself. If you listen to conversations with Adentan constituents, they loved her. She had shown up. Most said that they really had not seen Adam, even with the campaigning. So that's
let me just hold you there. Kisiedu is actually currently in Adentan constituency. Kisiedu, if you can hear me, what can you report from the Adentan constituency?
All right, Tanya. So here at the Victory Press Week, where the Adentan constituency, the ballot have been, collated here. We have so many supporters from the National Democratic Congress, and unfortunately, I'm not seeing any member from the New Patriotic Party. The NDC supporters are here shouting, making noise that they want the parliamentary result, because for them they know that Ramadan is winning. So they are here making noise, asking the EC officials to make provisions for the parliamentary results. So currently we have the presidential results ready, and with the presidential results, Mahmoud Bawumia had 29,578. 29,578. We have
could you please speak up for me?
Having 16 votes. We have Christian Kabana having 13 votes. We have Sophie Akalu having 8 votes. We have Mohammed Kempong having 250 votes. We have Nana Kuma having 250 votes. We have John Zaman Mahama having 2,116 votes. We have Hassan Ayariga having 58 votes.
Kisiedu, could you please speak up? I'm really struggling to hear what you're saying.
Hello?
Yes, this is better. If you can hear me, kindly maintain this tone for me. I wasn't really hearing what you were saying earlier.
So can I go over?
Yes, please.
Okay, so with the presidential results, we have John Zaman, we have Mahmoud Bawumia having 29,578. 29,578. We have Daniel Augustin Gatti having 16. He's having 16. We have Christian Kabana Andrew having 60 votes. We have Sophie Akalu having 13 votes. Mohammed Kempong having 8 votes. We have Nana Kuma having 250 votes. We have John Jamali Mahama having 60,116 votes. We have Hassan Ayariga having 58 votes. Having 58 votes.
Okay, so looking at the figures that you're giving us.
27 votes. And George Chumberima Edu having 21 votes. We have Nana Kwame Vidiakon Chada having 963 votes. Alan Chairman Singh having 465 votes. Projected ballot as 810. Total vote cast is 92,375. And total number of polling stations were 325. So the presidential results are in that we're currently waiting for the parliamentary results, which the supporters are yelling for that from the EC officials.
Okay, Kisiedu, so you've given us the figures. As you stand, I can hear Zufufuzela, there's jubilation around you. What is the atmosphere?
I'm sorry, I can hardly hear you.
Kisiedu, if you can hear me, what is the atmosphere like in Adenta currently?
Kindly come again.
What is the atmosphere like in Adenta constituency?
Okay, so the atmosphere is all joyful. Like let me put it that way. They are all celebrating. They are all happy. I don't know. They were all hoping for John Dramani Mahama to win this election, because wherever you pass, you'll be seeing John Dramani Mahama's flag all over, with people screaming, shouting, making noise that Mahama is leading the poll. So the people here are happy that John Dramani Mahama is leading the poll now.
Okay, so Kisiedu, we know that Adamu Ramadan had this operation 90,000 votes or more. Currently, looking at the figures, is it matching up to what they were actually looking for? We know that Adamu Ramadan was actually aiming for 90,000 or more votes. And looking at the figures that are coming in, is it matching what they expected?
Okay, so yes, the total vote cast was 92,375, and it seems
the 92,000 is it in favor of Adamu Ramadan? Who is it in favor of?
So you talking of the parliamentary result?
Yes.
Yes. Ramadan is actually leading when it comes to the parliamentary result.
With how much? What's the percentage? What are the figures? He's leading by how many?
We don't have the percentage now. That's what the supporters of the NDC are yelling for.
Okay, so we'll definitely come back to you. Kindly stay on the matter, and then we'll definitely come for the figures when they do come in. Thank you so much. That's our correspondent, Derek Kumiki-Siedu. He's actually reporting from the Adentan constituency. But, I mean, coming back, we're actually having a discussion on the fact that Adentan is a swing constituency. And as you can see, I mean, Adamu Ramadan was saying that no more one term.
He's made history. And I am not so surprised. If you look at the figure he won in 2020, he won with the biggest margin any MP has ever won in Adenta. He won with over 13,000 plus.
What does he do that endears him to the constituents?
Now, if you look at
very briefly, because I want us to actually move from here and go to Ayawa.
Now, if you look at Adamu Ramadan, he's from the family of the vice president's wife. So they are cousins. And Adamu is one person who is very quiet. He doesn't speak much, but he has that likable personality that the moment he walks in the constituency, people begin to like him. He meets people, he doesn't know you, he greets you. It's somebody that the concept,
so his charisma
has won the heart of the people. And Kozie came with a very strong enthusiasm. People thought with the things she was doing in the constituency, Kozie has done a lot in the constituency, constructing roads, building bridges, and doing a lot of developmental projects, even as a parliamentary candidate. But the work Adamu has also done, the likable, that he has presented himself in the Zongo community within the Adenta that he appealed to very much as well.
Is what has given him the upper edge. So definitely the charisma, and then also trying to actually, in fact, doing what to appeal to the Zongo community. Now, because of time, I quickly want us to move over to Ayawa.
So another very, it's not even dicey again. Very historic win for the National Democratic Congress. 24 years they've never won in this constituency. The last time they won was in 1996. They've made history. And who else than the embattled John Dumelo, who has been in the news for several reasons. If you look at the campaign, he's been in the news for the bad reasons.
Before we continue, I mean, we have a correspondent from Ayawaso, Eric.
Now, Melo has been in that constituency since yesterday.
Our correspondents have been doing a very yeoman job.
I think when they come, the bill is on both of you, right? So we'll take care of it. Eric.
Yes, Effie. Good morning or good afternoon.
Good afternoon. So, can you tell us what is happening? Please speak out first. Kindly speak out.
We know he's tired, but we know that he has it in him to project for us.
Okay, so Melo, please project and then let us know what is currently happening in Ayawa Sowas.
Absolutely. So finally, the wait is over. We have been waiting since yesterday when voting ended. All we were told was to gather at the Collation Center here for further on the final details of the electoral result. We were here, counting was still going. As at 12 o'clock noon, counting was still ongoing all throughout to this morning. All because of the presidential candidate, presidential results. It was counted from yesterday from afternoon to this morning, I should say, around 11. That was when the presidential result was finally, completed. But currently, the mood here is very charged. The atmosphere is very poised because John Setto Dumelo is, after 24 years, of the NDC's hoping to capture this seat for their party. Finally, John Dumelo has done the magic for the NDC party. And as I said, 24 years, John Dumelo has set history. And for the presidential result, John Mahama has been declared the winner of this year's 2024 election at Ayawaso West Wogo, which has been very topical because guess what? This is NPP's stronghold, and finally, after 24 years, they have secured victory in the home region. The bank of the NPP. So we will be listening to what the electoral officers or the collation officers who were pronouncing the verdict give. But for now, we are yet to, counting is underway for the parliamentary results. But as we know, projections have shown that John Dumelo is in the lead, and you could see in the video with her wife as well, all beamed up with smile, cheered up for the victory. In fact, it's quite a very interesting charged atmosphere here. You know that the University of Ghana usually is a dominance for the youth populace, and so you could see the atmosphere charged with so much razzmatazz here from the students. Very happy. I tried to engage some of the people to understand why they have suddenly switched from Lydia Hassan to John Setto Dumelo. They say John Dumelo is the man. John Dumelo did for them. Lydia Hassan has done her work. Okay, she has to go. She has not been satisfying the constituents enough. Sometimes she does it overboard. Sometimes she tries her best, but it is not enough. But John Dumelo this time is the person or the right choice for Ayawaso West Wogon. So let's cross over and listen to what the electoral officer in his verdict for the presidential results declared.
Mello. Mello, okay, we'll definitely bring you the bites. We'll bring you actually what the election officer declared, like Mello himself has said. But like he said, the NDC is winning after 24 years.
Yeah.
24 years.
That's been a long wait. Let's see if in the next 4 years, John Dumelo will be able to cement his name and the NDC in the constituency so that they own the constituency.
Let's take a look at the interview that John Dumelo actually engaged in.
To make sure that we represent the people. We're here to make sure we're not empty for somewhere, we're empty for people. We're here to make Ayawaso very great today.
Even prior to this, we know that Ayawaso West Wogon has been a very contentious place. All eyes here focused because of the competitiveness between the two candidates. What do you think has done the magic for you this time?
Well, I think I made a lot of mistakes in 2020 and I corrected those mistakes in 2022. When people are tired of you, people are tired of you. You have to represent the interests of people, not when it's election time. You decide to go share rice and oil and carry and expect the people to vote for you when they've not seen you in the last 4 years, when you've not impacted their lives in the last 4 years, when you've not represented them well in Parliament in the last 4 years. Rice and oil is not going to solve it. Gary is not going to solve it. The interest of the people will solve it. And that's what the outgoing MP will do. Those are some of the mistakes she did. Capitalizing on that every time.
Well, speaking about Gary
Dr. Gina. Christian Pabla Andrews. Data Coalition Agent for Kofi Apalu. Coalition Agent for Nana Kofi Apalu. Coalition Agent for John Dramani. Coalition agent for George Chumberma Adu. Coalition agent for Nana Kwame Bediako. Alan John Kojichamanto. Each candidate had, and then their agent, the coalition will sign. We have number one.
Okay, so you actually had, I mean, that was the official from the EC declaring the results, and you also heard from John Dumelo. Definitely, after 24 years. This is not a joke. This has been a long time. The victory is in the lap of the NDC.
This is not a joke indeed.
Yeah.
It's not a joke.
And University of Ghana turns green.
Well, yes, the University of Ghana turns green. That's why I say that we live to see if in the next 4 years John Dumelo will endear himself to the people of the Ayawaso West Wuogon constituency and also cement his place as a worthy MP and cement the NDC's position as a political party in their constituency. If he's able to do that, then indeed, in some years to come, when someone is also doing an analysis, like Sami has been doing a comprehensive analysis of that constituency, his name will stand out as that young man who came, showed his face amidst all of the challenges he encountered. I mean, he came once, he didn't get it, he tried again.
He never gave up.
Yes, and say that he came and then it wasn't just a one-time thing. So let's see if it will be just a one-time parliamentary seat for him, or he is going to show that he is worthy of the seat. But congratulations to him. It gives also, I'm sure that for many young people too, it is beautiful to see a young person, relatively young person, also enter parliament, and we hope that he shows the Ghanaian people that he's worthy of the seat. Not that, not to say that because he's young, that's why I'm saying that, no, lest anybody takes my words, misconstrues my word. No, I say it with all good faith when I say that it's beautiful to see a young person enter into parliament.
Okay, wait, before you come in, I mean, we actually have Noah Nash. He's actually our correspondent from the Northern region, and he's joined us on the line. Good afternoon, Noah. You're welcome to ABC News GH.
Good afternoon to you.
Yes, Noah, so what can you report? I mean, currently, what are the figures? Who is leading, and what's the atmosphere there like?
As it stands now, whoever is leading is already known, but if you look at the seats in the northern region, as it stands now, the Mio seat has been taken over by the NDC. Yendi seat has also been taken over by the NDC. And then we have an independent candidate that is coming from Willensi. And that independent candidate initially, it was an MPP NDC candidate. It was an NDC candidate who apparently during the primaries lost and was so angry with the situation that led to his defeat. So he also joined in the process. So now he is now the new independent candidate, and he is a Kokomba. He is a Kokomba person, and the other candidates that actually contested with him were apparently Nanumbers, and so the Kokomba community actually gave him a resounding victory, and so he is the new independent candidate we have in the northern region. which is a very historic window for this year. And then also, we also have some few gunshot-related issues in Karaga as a result of the coalition activities that took place. Some youth wanted to invade the place because they said they suspected some ballots that are foreign materials that have been brought into the center. So that also sparked in a bit of agitation and was also managed. In Tamale, precisely where I am right now, there is also a looting that took place about an hour ago, and that looting was at the Tamale Metropolitan Assembly area, where foodstuffs, other items that were used during the campaign activities for various homes that were part of the activities that the mayor and the team members were supposed to have distributed to the various households, which never went to them, were actually kept in a warehouse. The first group that went to loot the place was the MPP. Then there was a combination of both the MPP and NTC who actually went to loot at the place. They took off the roof, dropped into the room, break the doors, and got in to assist their colleagues to open it, and then looted out everything, including food items, clothes, everything. They took everything away.
No, let me understand this clearly. So both a combination of the NDC and the MPP youth looted an area around the Tamale Municipal Assembly. For what reason specifically?
That's the looting. The first one that was done last night, let me say at dawn, was done by the MPP youth. And this time around, this morning's own, MPP youth that went to loot signaled the NDC youth when Dr. Bawumia was conceding defeat whilst he was giving the press statement. That was when the MPP youth, some of them that we know, joined the NDC youth and went and looted the place. And they were all wearing NDC t-shirts. But some of them that we saw who were wearing MPP shirts, we saw them, but because the crowd was so much and it was so difficult for the police to control them, you could not tell if they were 100% MPP or not. But what you can vividly see, they were in NDC party t-shirts and they were actually doing the work with some MPP guys who were also in MPP t-shirts.
Okay,
so
Noah,
these are the distinctions I want to create.
Okay, now Noah, I want to find out, I mean, how many seats do we have in the Northern region?
The seats that we have in the Northern region, let me count: Tamale Central, Tamale South, Tamale North, Sanarugu, Kumbungu.
How many has the NDC lost, and how many has the MPP lost, and how many has the NDC won?
NDC won 11 seats.
Okay.
They won 11 seats, one independent candidate, then the rest is for the MPP. It's 18 seats for the constituency.
For the region. Hello, Noah.
Yes.
Noah Nash, this summer, you remember we had this conversation on Tolong and the other constituencies. Mian was among the constituencies we spoke about. We saw some tensions brew up in Tolong yesterday, where one person was allegedly shot dead in the Tolong constituency. That seat has still been won by the MPP. Habib Idrisu has gotten to maintain the seat. If you look at the dynamics, you predicted that the MPP, if the care wasn't taken, was going to lose some of their seat, and they have actually gone ahead to lose them. But they actually haven't won any. Is that not surprising?
It's not surprising because, you see, if you look at the Tolong seat, for instance, it's a beautiful seat that, if you look at the constituency that makes up the Tolong seat, Chirifoyini, Kasuyili, and then the Nasara, and then you have the Nyankpala. These are very strong areas for both the NDC and MPP. So what Habib did that worked out for him was the fact that he buzzed a lot of the youth and persons who belong to the Tolong constituency who were residing out of the jurisdiction of Tolong, buzzed them, managed to convince them to bring them into Tolong. That worked the magic. Because if you look at the various areas in Tale, Chirfohini, and all those places, the margins were quite very large. So in the process, you can understand that he actually won. Like I told you, the Mion seat is when I told you that the campaign was actually hitting the Kokomba community, and the Kokomba has their own demands. What is surprising is the Gushegu one. The Gushegu one is also very close, but the point is that the Gushegu one, most of the voters who were the Kokombas actually supported the NDC candidate in Yendi to win the seat. That is how come that the Yendi seat was lost. So NDC is now the owner of Yendi seat. The MPP have lost the Yendi seat when the NDC should have been winning Gushegu, but this time around they lost it. But if you look at the communities I mentioned the last time regarding their what really is the worrying situation, I can see the emergency team have moved again right now. I don't know what is happening in Tolong. There was a small attack on the DC's house, so I presume they are still moving back again. So, like I was saying, that conversation is still holds. But if you want to just suppose, why is it that Tampoli did not lose, then you understand the fact that for someone to win the Yendi seat, it was the biggest achievement for the NDC.
That Yendi seat has never been won by the NDC. It was a historic one for the NDC. Looking at the former, the former vice president's son, representing the seat. But people said that it was coming, because if you look at the internal dispute that was happening in Yendi with the parliamentary elections that got Farouk acclaimed the presidential candidate. The elections didn't hold again. The elections was cancelled. There was supposed to be re-election. It didn't happen. And then the national executive acclaimed him as the PC for the area. People said that that seat was coming, especially when the NDC were working their hands. But another seat that I want us to briefly touch on was the Saboba seat that people actually thought the NPP will win it back. But we didn't see that. What played against the NPP in Saboba that they haven't been able to regain that seat?
No, I didn't say Saboba would be won by... No. I said Saboba would rather be won by NDC.
Yes. I'm not talking...
The seats...
Hello, Noah.
Yes?
I'm not saying you are saying. I'm saying that people thought that Saboba NPP would do some magic and regain that seat for themselves. But it didn't happen. What really happened?
It will never happen. It will never happen.
Why so?
It will never happen. There are reasons why Saboba, it has a very strong Kokomba community. And that strong Kokomba community had few issues with the way the DC conducted himself. And especially when it comes to developmental projects that were supposed to take place in Saboba. And no, Saboba still keep on battling with a flooding situation when there should have been a relief for them. And so dredging was supposed to take place in Saboba Enclave. None of those things also happened. And also government tied the dredging of Saboba to the water project that was supposed to take place in Yendi. So if you look at it from every angle, you can understand that Saboba can never. What is surprising, which everybody is shocked about, is the NDC candidate losing in Willensi. That is the surprising part. That is a Willensi seat that they lost to an independent candidate.
That has surprising a lot of people, and it's also
yes, because that young man. You see, let me also tell you that you see what played the trick that the NDC used in maintaining the seats in other regions where they know that they have few issues. You realize that that did not play in the other part. So if you come to Willensi, for instance, the guy actually said the NDC actually was disingenuous to him because he was a Kokomba, and then kept drumming in, and he said it openly and said the way they treated him, it was not fair. And the internal issues this time I didn't see Asiedun Ketia resolving that issue. I did not see him. But the truth is that according to the election director, when I spoke to him privately, he said they tried resolving it, but the way they played it at him, which was more of tribal, Nanumba. So NDC felt that, okay, MPP has elected a Nanumba candidate, so we should also elect a Nanumba candidate and face ourselves so that the vote from Kokomba will support them. The guy took advantage of that position and said, I'm a Kokomba, and I'll stand for that particular seat and win it for the Kokomba, because
right. Noah, because of our time, just let's wrap up and say that the northern region was so critical in these elections. NPP has gone ahead to lose it. They've lost, out of the 18 seats, they've lost, they now hold only 6 out of the 18. NDC has 11, 1 independent. What does it mean for the New Patriotic Party, the fate of the party in the northern region, especially after losing that Yendi seat?
It will be very difficult. I know the seats, it means a lot to the NDC, especially even the Yendi and then the Wulensi seats and then the Savulugu seat, for instance. It meant so much to NDC. Those seats that the NDC lost are very serious ones. What it meant to the NDC is that they have to do a lot to win back the hearts of many people again in the northern region. They've done their best to retain 11 seats, and I know very well that the Wulensi young man will probably join the NDC in parliament to make it a 12 for the northern caucus. But the truth is that they need to do a lot of work, because the winning of those seats and the losing of those other seats meant that you need to build your party structures, not one, on tribal line, 2, not on ethnicity bigotry, 4, not because somebody is connected to an individual. So if you put the structures in that perspective, then you can appreciate the fact that NDC in 2025 will have to start building the bridges in all the losing sites and mending the heart of those who are angry.
Thank you very much, Noah, for your time.
Okay, so we actually have been engaging our Northern Regional correspondent, that is Noah Nash. We'll be heading away from that to the Western region, and we'll definitely be engaging with our correspondent there to let us know what is happening over there. But here, this is the Poll Center. You're still watching ABC News GH. Don't forget, I mean, we're pushing for hashtag votes not violence. We've seen a few things erupt here and there, which we definitely do not encourage, because the most important thing is peace, your life. I saw some of the visuals yesterday and they were extremely disturbing. Extremely disturbing.
If we will take our peace as a priority and know that the life we have is just one, that our families love us, if there's love at home, your family loves you, please. In as much as you want to, you love your party.
Your part, I know.
We as Ghanaians love you. So please.
And in that same manner, we have Jacob on the line. Jacob is actually giving us reports from the Western region. Jacob, good afternoon. You're welcome to the show.
Good afternoon, madam, and how are you doing?
I'm doing well, but if you could please speak up for me, I'll be amazing.
All right. Good afternoon, please. How are you doing?
Awesome. I'm doing great now. Could you tell me, what can you report from the Western region?
Well, if you come to the Western region, everything is changing. I can say Western region is green. What this means is that with the 17
Jacob, please speak up a little for me.
Please, can you hear me now?
This is better.
All right. So if you come to the Western region, things have changed. Western region is green. What this means is that NDC have occupied majority of the seats in the Western region. Out of the 17 constituencies in the Western region, NDC now has 15 of them, with the exception of Takoradi constituency and Efia constituency, where it's being run by the MPP parliamentary candidates. Well, we have some big or some new entries in some of the constituencies, especially the Sekedi constituency, where the NDC have won it for the first time since 1992 or 1996. And we talk about the Eskedo Keten as well. we have a big surprise coming up from the Takpan Swahili constituency, where the Deputy Land Minister, Honorable Mekudukwa, lost his seat to Issa Taylor in the Takpan Swahili constituency. Apart from that, NDC have been sweeping most of the constituencies in the Western region. And Western region, I can tell you now that Western region is green for the NDC.
So you're saying that the NDC has secured 15 seats, whereas the NPP is left with 2 seats?
Yes, with 2 seats in the Western region.
Definitely. Do you have any figures? I mean, the margin.
Yes, currently I have with me some of the reports from the 30% constituency where I have some of the numbers from Amenfi West, where the MPP, this is the presidential figures, where the MPP had 14,205 compared to 28,689 to the NDC. Looking at this, we can say that the NDC are actually sweeping the seats. And if you come to Ketan constituency or Eskado Ketan, at the parliamentary, we have Charles Bisu of the MPP getting 17,754. 17,754. Whilst Grace Ayensu-Dankwa had 26,166. This is a certified result from the EC, and I can attest to you that NDC have won the Eskado Ketan constituency in the Western region.
Now, before we move away from Eskado, I mean, we're focusing on, Ayensu and Kingsley actually winning. With the NDC taking that seat in Eskado, it's something that is important when it comes to the people of the Western region.
Yes, it is. Actually, the reason why Sekendi or Western region is green is that they want change. They want to do something, or they want the NDC to help them change their lives. They want Western region to be better. That's why the NDC have been sweeping the constituency. They have been sweeping the seats in the Western region. We can talk about Grace Ayensu-Dankwa. He contested in 2020, and he almost, that's what the NDC people are saying, almost, or won against the incumbent MP, Honorable Jogate. But they are saying they off the light, and there was a whole lot of contribution problems around the result. So she had to come back again and contest against Charles Onyo on top of the MPP again. And this time around, the NDC were vigilant. They had torchlights at the coalition centers. They were up at the coalition center. So this afternoon or this morning, that the EC declared that Grace Ayensu-Dankwa has won the Eskado Ketan constituency in the Western region.
The time we've actually been engaging with Jacob Eduba. He is our Western regional correspondent. But let's take a listen to what Dr. Grace Ayensu had to say.
Regional elders, maybe I am regional executives, and not to work with from the Western region from the last 30, and I know we are 14 out of 17 at least. But we have swept the whole Western region. Now, young constituency executive, the chairman, Ejuma Power, the woman organizer, Ejuma Power, may organizer, organizer one Ejuma Papa. So the organize, they are done. 9 assembly members in Sudan, by the Zona coordinators 12 years old, as well as members including a 1-on-1 NDC for over 2 hours. The book of the better because the next election will be the higher NDC score. What the year is the policy. It's the Mulas of the Marcus, the Smana was including a 1-on-1 NDC for the Belly and Diana no ye ni be na after the regional elders maybe I am regional executives and not to work with from the Western region from the last amendment, and I know we are 14 out of 17 at least, but we have served the whole Western region. Young constituency executive, the chairman, the power, the woman organizer, the power, the organizer, one so the organize, they are done. 9 assembly members and donors. By the end of the latest 12 years, members including the one I want to end this far. Over to our way, the book of because the next election will be the higher NDC what the year is the policy. It's the only last from the Marcus and the Smana was the Penny and Diana Copanas, not in after the regional elders. Maybe I am regional executives and not to work with from the Western region from the last amendment, and I know we are 14 out of 17 at least, but we have served the whole Western region. Young constituency executive, the chairman, the power, the woman organizer, the power, the organizer, one so the organize, they are done. 9 assembly members and donors. By the end of the latest 12 years, members including the one I want to end this far. Over to our way, the book of the better because the next election will be the higher NDC what the year is the policy. It's the only last. The Penny and Diana Copanas, not in the big after the regional.
Has been anticipation of the EC coming out to officially declare the result. Well, we heard from various regional correspondents, and the video you just saw right now was actually from Dr. Grace Ayensu, and that is actually coming from the Western region. She has actually won the seat for Escado Kentan, and you know, it's a historic win for the NDC. This is something that's very, very important. Yeah. Abda, what do you think of this?
A seat for the NPP. Now NDC has it. I would say the same thing I said about the Ayawaso West Wuogon constituency. We'll see how Dr. Grace Ayensu Dankwa would be able to endear herself to her constituents and also establish herself in parliament so that she is a very she's a formidable force in parliament. So far as you're formidable, then it means that your party knows that if they lose you, you are something to lose, and will do everything by throwing their weight behind you so that you can continue to stay. So the next 4 years, very interesting again. I'm looking forward to the dynamics of it. You remember, Sami, that Dr. Frederick Ojo has said on several conversations we've had with him that the next parliament, regardless of who wins, should have a decisive.
And this is decisive. Yes. This is even beyond decisive.
Yes, and so if she is going to be part of that decisive parliament, I look forward to what she will be doing.
Definitely. Thank you so much. Now, moving on, we actually have our Eastern Regional correspondent, that's Osei Mafo, and he has joined us on the line. Good afternoon, Osei. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, my sir.
Osei, if you could speak up for me, I'd appreciate it.
Thank you very much, my sister. Can you hear me?
Yes, this is way better. Osei, what can you report from the Eastern region?
Okay, thank you very much. So, the next parliament is expected to have some interesting and some innovative young individuals entering into the house to also ensure the betterment of their constituents. If you come to the Eastern region, so far many of the areas have been collated while some are still on hold, especially when you come to the Sawam Agriculture constituency. As we speak, there is seeming tension in the Sawam Agriculture constituency. Since last night when the coalition process began, unfortunately, the process ate into the midnight, which aggravated some young individuals from the National Democratic Congress who claim they've won the constituency and that the Electoral Commission is deliberately keeping long to declare their candidates the victor in the process. So these young individuals broke into the coalition center and vandalized all the activities from the pink sheets and then the ballot papers and everything in there. So all the observers, including the media, had to flee for their lives. Unfortunately, there was a shooting incident, and as we speak, a young man was shot into his thighs, and currently he's at the Sawam Government Hospital receiving treatment. According to the NDC constituency chairman David Ayawale, he claims the NDC has won that parliamentary elections in the constituency, whilst Frank Anadon just this afternoon had also addressed the media and mentioned that he is confident and they are very sure and aware that their coalition never fails them and that they had won the constituency with a little over 200 votes in the Sawam Agriculture constituency. He also mentioned of the fact that he was not aware of the shooting incident, although some individuals were pointing accusing fingers at him that he was the mastermind behind it, or he was the one who actually shot the gun, but he says he did not know such thing. At the moment, the Eastern Southern Command of the police were at the government hospital to ensure there's total peace, because the NDC youth, including the parliamentary candidates for the National Democratic Congress, are trying to see how the young man who was shot into the thigh was faring. Currently, he's doing better, but the youth are still anxious and say they are threatening in the constituency. So if you come to the Sawam Agriculture constituency, there's seeming tension over there. Again, a constituency like the Pantiakwa North constituency, that place too, there's also a confusion over there. After the EC had collated the results, there was also tension, and at the moment, both parties had also gone to the regional coalition center to also get their coalition done over there for them. However, individuals such as Samuel Kru, who contested on the MPP ticket in the Kropong constituency, is expected to be in parliament. He polled 28,365, whilst his contender John Evans Komuji of the National Democratic Congress polled 14,217. A constituency like that of the Ayensuano constituency.
So how many seats exactly has the NDC retained or won, and how many have they lost, and how many has the MPP also retained or lost?
Unfortunately, we are unable to pinpoint the exact number of seats that both parties has actually won, but we can say that the MPP has knocked back the Yensuano constituency, and the shocker happens to be that of the Akuapem South constituency. This seat has been a seat for the New Patriotic Party, having been there for the past 24 years. For the first time, the National Democratic Congress candidate, Laurentia George had snapped that particular seat from the MPP's candidate. In fact, that particular constituency, the MPP's presidential candidate won that particular constituency. Unfortunately for the parliamentary candidate, he could not make it. And let me also add that the New Patriotic Party's candidate happened to be a right-hand man of the Member of Parliament, Honorable Osei-Bonsu Amwam. So it comes as a shocker. And in fact, prior to the presidential and these parliamentary elections, during the MPP primaries, there were a lot of confusion as to when that particular election was to be held. So, though it comes as a shocker, it does not also surprises many, because some individuals were kind of paying back the MP for some accusations they claim were the sense that they had to method on him for delaying or for choosing someone they did not like for them. So at the moment, we are unable to pinpoint the exact seats the MPP has snapped from the NDC or otherwise. And a place like the Akwesea constituency, for instance, there's also a serious tension over there. In fact, media persons and a lot of individuals had to also flee for their lives, because both party supporters were seriously up for it last night. So, if you come to the Eastern region, at the moment, there's a lot of tensions in some constituencies, and we are unable to pinpoint the exact constituencies both parties had won.
Okay, I want to find out how big and how important is it for the MPP to win back the Ayensuwam seat?
In fact, the Ayensuwam seat had been declared for the parliamentary candidate who happens to be Idol, and in fact, he won with a margin of some thousands votes over there. So it was not so much of a big deal. In fact, let's say that this seat happens to be an MPP seat until 2020 elections, where the MP then, that's Honorable Ayepe, lost to the current MP Teddy. So
once it used to be for the MPP, then definitely it's a big deal for them. They will definitely have to look at bringing themselves back. Thank you so much. That is Osei Mafo. He's actually our Eastern Regional Correspondent, giving us, some figures and happenings in the Eastern region. Also, very importantly, the Akuapem South seat, which has belonged to the MPP for 24 years, finally has been snatched by Laurentia for the NDC.
It's very key, like he was mentioning. You look at the NPP candidate, he's the aide, like personal aide to the current MP. So he was somebody engineered by the current MP to replace him. So the current MP decided, he was part of the 19 MPs who decided not to contest again in this year's elections from the MPP side. MPP, they have a lot of MPs who decided not to contest again. The MP for Akuapem South was part of it. He decided not to contest. Then he brought forth somebody from his side, a personal aide to contest. He won the primaries, but he went ahead to lose the seat for the first time in 24 years for the NPP, and that's a shock, like you mentioned. No one expected it, because that seat has always been a safe spot
for the NPP. But
it goes to the issue of the internal wrangling, because what he's saying is that people are doing, it's more like a payback to the NPP.
Yes, they were not happy that he chose who they should vote. Yes,
and that is the issue. Now, Eastern region has been, people don't really see the dynamics that Eastern region brings to Ghanaian elections. Now, what has been the trend is that since 2004, anytime the New Patriotic Party has 60% of the votes, at least 60% of the votes in Eastern region, they win the ballot.
Wow.
If you look at the history, anytime the NPP has had 60
They win the ballot.
2008 they had 2004 they had 60% plus, they won. 2008 they couldn't get, they lost. 2012 they couldn't get, they lost. 2016 they had 60% plus, they won. 2020 they had 60% plus, they won. So this year's election, what the NPP was targeting, they know it. They were targeting that 60% mark to be able to get the win that they wanted, and unfortunately
they didn't get it.
Play to their advantage, especially some of the seats they are losing. Come to think of it, the minority chief, the majority chief, Frank Anodonpre, is under his seat is under serious threat, and it's serious. Yesterday we saw visuals of NDC supporters at the coalition center in Nsawam Adroji trying to enter to the coalition to protect the ballot because they believe, the NDC supporters believe that they have won the seat. But per what he's saying, the NPP, Frank Anodonpre, is also saying that they are winning, but with just a slim margin, 200 plus seats. So this election itself has been a shocker for the New Patriotic Party. No one would have thought that Frank Anodonpre would be under serious threat in Nsawam Adroji. Looking at what he has done in the constituency, he's somebody that he's a local person. Frank is the local person, like the people like him. He goes and plays the Ludo.
The person you call the homeboy.
He does everything DRB. Like he plays the game with the boys and goes to the Chiefs, and he's likable. But for him to be struggling to maintain this thing, they should tell you what the NPP really need to do across board, and not just in the Eastern region alone. Because just recently, you remember the parliamentary impasse, the controversy in Parliament.
Yeah.
He was the one leading the charge. Went to Parliament as early as 6 a.m. to go and whip he's the majority. So he went to whip the NPP side, prepare the place. He even brought his supporters from Nsawam. He buzzed them to the place, to Parliament, and at the point he had to take them away. He's somebody in the party that the party persons value him. If you look at the work he's putting in, training, and in the communication bit of the NPP, social media guys that he's leading and training them to lead the social media campaign for the NPP.
Definitely. Well,
it is a shocker to see him struggle in Nsawam.
For this one. Well, let's move straight to Tema West. We have Sedi. She's actually our correspondent from there. So she's giving us, results coming from Kponkatamaso and Tema West. Sedi, you're welcome to the show. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Also, so very quickly, what is the latest in Tema West and Kponkatamaso constituency?
Tema West constituency, where the coalition is happening at Tema School, they've been able to give us the details of the presidential results, but we are waiting for the parliamentary. Same as Kponkatamaso, coalition is still ongoing over there.
Okay, so currently, would you be able to tell us who has won, who has lost some seats, or who has been able to snatch seats from the other?
Yes, when you come to Tema West constituency, NDC has never won any seat there more than 28 years now. So James Enu, who is the lawyer standing as the NDC candidate, took the seat from the NPP candidate, who is Dennis Sefa Amfo. Currently, the NDC candidate is at the collation center. They are collecting the votes, but the NPP candidate, since yesterday and today, hasn't shown up at the center.
Definitely. Okay, so is he the only person who has been able to take a seat? What of
other members? Other members has also lost their seat, but currently the one I know is the NDC and the NPP. But for Kponkatamaso, coalition is still ongoing.
Okay. I mean, how is the place like? What are they maintaining? You're safe?
Yes, for Tema West, what is happening is the NDC supporters were agitated this morning as well, shouting on the EC officials, accusing them of taking money and delaying bringing out the results. And it wasn't easy. Security has to step in to bring calmness to the place. Some media houses, including even me myself, we didn't take it easy because they said our jacket looks like the NPP color. So as we are here reporting, we are against them. But thanks to the security, we're all locked inside. The doors were closed and we're safe inside while coalition was going on. We have the regional women's organizer, Bisana Bisi, who came over to speak calmly with them and then restore peace.
Definitely. I mean, I quickly, before I let you go, can you give us the figures for the presidential?
Yes, please.
Okay.
For the presidential, Mahamudu Bawumia, the total number of votes he got is 27,409.
27,409. Okay.
Yes, we have Daniel.
Is that for Kpong or is that for Tema West?
For Tema West.
Okay.
For Tema West, we have Mahamudu Bawumia, who had 27,409 votes.
Yes, I'm listening. Please go on.
We have Daniel Augustus Latte, who had 14 votes. Christian Kobna
Kindly move to the NDC, the candidates. John Dramani Mahama.
John Dramani Mahama had 48,327 votes.
48,327 votes.
Which is 62.96%.
Okay, so that is definitely a wide gap. But you said they are still collecting. Do you have that for Kpong?
No, that of Kpong is not yet out.
Definitely. Thank you so much. That's our correspondent from Tema West and Kpong Katamaso constituency. Sedish has been giving us the figures. And I mean, Sami, if you look at the figures, presidential, very huge gap. 27,409 for Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia and 48,327.
For your callers to enjoy this song.
That is a huge gap for the NDC in the Tema West. Looking at the turnout that we're looking at, the voter turnout, not being impressive and still being able to get this amount of vote is very huge. That constituency, like she mentioned, is not one that has really gone in favor of the NDC. That this time round we've snatched it for the first time in like 28 years. It's another historic move for the National Democratic Congress. Greater Accra actually has not favored the NPP in this year's election. Now, per what we are looking at, the NDC could get up to 26, 27 seats in Greater Accra out of 33. And that is a huge blow on the NPP, especially when in 2020 they had lost seats and they wanted to regain the seats. They had seats like the Denta, they wanted to regain all of these seats. Like the Kuku, and they were unsuccessful. And instead of maintaining what they have, they are losing
more seats. That's true.
That's why they are going to have, NDC is going to have a very big win in Parliament, landslide. They could even have double of what the NPP will have in Parliament.
The question is, everybody's looking forward to what the 9th Parliament is definitely going to look like.
And the big majority that Ghanaians have reposed in the NDC is one that they shouldn't take in. They shouldn't take it for. They shouldn't take it for anything, for granted.
Okay.
Because it means that we are reposing mandate in them. We are reposing our trust, our mandate.
Before we continue, we actually have Mubarak on the line. He's actually reporting from Sisala West. Mubarak, how are you? Good afternoon. Welcome to the show. Mubarak, if you could actually please, I want to hear you. I can't hear you. Could you please project?
Yes, I said good afternoon and good afternoon to audience.
Thank you so much. What is currently happening in Sisala West?
Sisala West is currently peaceful. I think I just left EC Coalition Center about 5 minutes ago, where the EC has now declared the parliamentary results for the Sisala West constituency, where, according to the EC satisfied results, Salifu Naliwe Baluwe, the MPP parliamentary candidate, pulled 12,937 votes.
Okay, so Mubarak, very quickly, so that you don't have to run through everything. How many seats have the NDC taken and how many seats do the NPP have in the region?
Yes, in the region currently in Upper West, actually, we underscored NDC have 11 seats and MPP has no seats for now. But Sisala West, in my case,
is where I can speak to authentically. And in Sisala West, the NDC has retained the seat.
So much. That's our colleague Mubarak from Sisala West. But like he's saying, currently the NPP have no seats in the region, and then NDC actually 11 seats.
In that's the Upper West.
Yes.
That is it. Another region that before the elections we went into it to get to understand, because remember that the contest was between two sons of the North.
Exactly.
So we are looking at whether the NPP could break through the Upper East and Upper West, which have traditionally been the stronghold of the NDC, and looking at the influence of Dr. Bawumia, whether we're seeing whether he could penetrate there, get more seats for the NPP. On the fact that NPP had 3 seats in the region, they were having 3 and the NDC was having 8, so it was 3 against 8. Now with Bawumia coming there, we're looking to see
could we draw more seats to our side.
Then they went ahead to lose Nandom, which is a seat that they've held in since 2016. Ambrose Diary went ahead to lose Nandom, went ahead to lose Sisala East. Now this Sisala West we are talking about.
Yes, Sisala
now,
West.
Sisala West, NDC has maintained their seat. Sisala East is the Deputy Minister for Sanitation, Honorable Chinie. They've lost that seat as well, and they've lost the other seat. So it means that they've lost the 3 seats they were holding in the region, and they are left with nothing. It is something that the NPP must sit to analyze what has accounted for all of this. Sorry to say, shambolic performance in the northern part of the country, because people actually tipped that because Bawumia is coming from there, he would share the spoil with John Mahama, and especially in the parliamentary elections, they will get more seats. They will retain, but it is a general assessment that the NPP must make, and it also goes to look at what people say, that most of the sitting MPs, especially from the NPP side, became very arrogant. They were not listening to the constituents. They became power drunk, if you want to say so, and they didn't pay attention to the issues. If you look at Honorable Chinie, he had been accused of smuggling some fertilizers or outside fertilizer that was meant for the farmers. He smuggled it outside and all of that. There were some accusations leveled against him. He said it was not true. He threw them to the gutters, went ahead to do a lot of things in the community, but the people still didn't believe in him, and
so
they voted him out.
Is it that we've gone beyond the fact that if you fix roads, give us clean water, we want potable water, and ensure that there's electricity and everything, well, that is not just what we're going to look at to vote for you. Have we gone beyond that to start looking at other weightier matters that would determine when we actually go to cast our ballot?
I think this year's election was determined by what I would call the issues. Somebody would say the issues have always mattered. The issues have always mattered. Now, what were the issues in this year's election? Prime issue was the economy. The economy, and people told us that the economy wasn't going to matter that much. Free SHS, roads, infrastructure, and other issues were going to weigh into the elections. But the results are showing something way different. The results have proven that the issues will always matter. The bread and butter issues, the economy that people complained about, people were not happy about. That is what mattered.
Let's head straight to the Savannah region. We actually have Mudasiru on the line. Mudasiru, you're welcome to the show. Good afternoon. Mudasiru, if you can hear me, you're welcome to the show. Good afternoon. Mudasiru, I think we'll still try and establish contact with him.
Like I was saying, the issues have always mattered. The economy
There are some reports coming in that the Electoral Commission office has actually been burnt down.
Where?
In Savannah.
Yes. Which of the constituencies? Is it the Mongo?
He will confirm exactly which constituency.
So we'll definitely try and get him on the line. The NPP was trying to make gains. They have the constituency have 7 seats. NPP had 3, NDC had 4. So it was 4-3. More like just one majority in favor of the NDC. And now
I think Mudasiru is back. Mudasiru, you're welcome to the show. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, Mudasiru, what can you report? Which constituency has the EC office been burnt down in?
That is the Damango constituency, where we have two great sons of Gonjaland, Samuel Abu Jinapo, Lance Minister contesting for the MPP, and Honorable Adam Mutawakilu, former.
Mudasiru, can you hear me? Okay, we'll try and get him back. But
That seat.
Does it? Mudasiru, can you hear me? Okay.
I'm not so. I don't like violence, but I'm not so surprised with the contest in Damango.